from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
Rodriguez. A chaotic scene in the Iranian town of Tabriz as Iran and Israel trade strikes on day 12 of the war. The U.S. has shifted its focus to the Strait of Hormuz. Correspondent Jared Hill.
In new video, U.S. warplanes hit Iranian mine-laying ships hours after President Trump posted online there'd be more to follow. The attacks come as U.S. officials tell CBS News that Iran was preparing to deploy naval mines to the Strait of Hormuz, that key shipping route through which roughly 20% of the world's oil passes.
The average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in the U.S. today is up 4 cents to $3.58. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt predicts once the U.S. is finished with Iran,
Americans will see oil and gas prices drop rapidly, potentially even lower than they were prior to the start of the operation.
A spate of tornadoes has torn through the Midwest. One of them wreaked havoc south of Chicago and Kankakee, Illinois.
It hit really hard, and this was my husband's pride and joy. Yeah. Our house, farmhouse, it blew out the windows and everything, and stuff is just scattered.
The storm leveled entire blocks. Tens of thousands have no power. CBS News has learned unscheduled absences among airport officers during the partial government shutdown have more than doubled. Correspondent Nicole Skanga.
Behind the scenes, DHS officials are worried that the longer the shutdown lasts, the greater the risk that more TSA officials quit, worsening staffing shortages and turning this short-term crises into a long-term crisis.
Long lines and delays are plaguing U.S. airports. 2 top doctors are stepping down in the latest fallout from a sex abuse scandal at Columbia University.
In 2016, gynecologist Dr. Robert Haddon pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting hundreds of patients at Columbia and New York Presbyterian Hospital. Now, 2 of his former superiors are stepping down after an external investigation found they mishandled the allegations against Haddon and allowed him to continue seeing patients after police had detained him. Dr. Mary Dalton led the OBGYN program, and Dr. Lee Goldman was the dean of the medical school. Several women accused Haddon of abusing them after he was allowed to stay on. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
In the NBA,
82 points.
Miami center Bam Adebayo broke the late Kobe Bryant's record for the second highest scoring game, then went for one more.
For me, it was just remaining calm and remaining locked in and understanding, I can go for something special. Now, I didn't think it was going to be 83.
Wilt Chamberlain still holds the all-time record of 100 points. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
It is 6:03, and we do still have some storms moving through the area. We have rain in downtown St. Louis. The temperature is already dropping. It's 65 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey. The tornado warning for Washington County has been dropped. A tornado watch has been issued that spans from some southern Illinois counties into Indiana and Kentucky. The National Weather Service dropping that tornado warning for Washington County, but they say that strong winds are still expected. The tornado watch includes Franklin and Jefferson counties, and that's been issued through noon. Roughly 1,300 customers without power in Madison County, Illinois, following the storms that moved through early this morning. Fewer than 1,000 customers without electricity in St. Louis County. People are cleaning up debris and checking in on loved ones after tornadoes tore through Kankakee County in northeast Illinois and parts of northwest Indiana. The Kankakee County Sheriff's Office says the tornado touched down south of town near the local fairgrounds. Officials have filed an emergency declaration with the state of Illinois. Power lines reported down across that county. Newton County Sheriff Shannon Cothran addressing residents through social media.
We have Lake Village has experienced a tornado. There's several houses that have been hit, a lot of damage. Please do not come here.
Late last night, more than 7,000 people were without power in the Kankakee area. The National Weather Service says a supercell spawned 4 tornadoes that touched down in northeast Illinois and northern Indiana. This Kankakee resident describing the damage done to her property.
It just demolished our barn. Our barn's over there. We got sheds and everything, and we had a big barn. We also got a solar farm out here in the field, and it's just demolished them and messed them up too.
We can't run county government on what we ran it on 5 years ago. Everything we buy costs more. And if people want the same level of services, then we need more revenue to provide those services, and folks are going to have to decide.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page, as he advocates for a redo vote for an online sales tax to fund the government. Asked about rising inflation and rising gas prices discouraging voters from raising their own taxes, Page says if the vote fails in August, the county should ask again in November.
There's not a lot of options in government or any business, less services or more revenue.
58% of county voters rejected the sales tax in 2022.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Skeptics pushed back at Page's push for the sales tax. Councilman Dennis Hancock, who is running for executive himself, says the county needs to show some discipline first.
I believe we need to demonstrate that we can effectively reduce spending in St. Louis County before we start asking for more revenue.
During public comment, resident Tom Sullivan weighed in.
It would be hard to imagine a worse time to be putting the tax increase on the ballot. Yet that's what this council seeks to do with the internet sales tax.
Hancock voted against the measure. It passed anyway and heads to final passage.
As they ask for millions more in funding to repair foundational and water damage to the buildings they'll soon control, does the state-appointed Board of Police Commissioners know the cost? Not yet, according to Board President Chris Saracino.
I'm requesting the Department of Budget and Finance and Audit Committee to explore hiring a third-party contractor that can submit an evaluation to the Board of Police Commissioners regarding repairs needed at these properties.
So how did they reach their ask of $25 million, $9 million more than the department got last year? Saracino says that's a placeholder. Police Chief Robert Tracy was asked why these repairs need to be budgeted for now when the cost isn't yet known.
There's a negotiation to find out what the right number is, what the responsible number is. And I think with the unknown, if you ask for too little, right, then you might have to come back and start asking for additional money.
The city has argued that the police board's budget request would cripple the city's finances, resulting in layoffs and cuts to other services. There is bipartisan support from the Missouri and Illinois congressional delegation to expand the Gateway Arch National Park into East St. Louis.
This has been talked about for years, but Congresswoman Nikki Baczynski, one of the bill's sponsors, says fighting for economic development opportunities across the Metro East has been one of her top priorities. And she adds that includes doing whatever she can to keep the doors open at Granite City Steel and reinvesting in the East St. Louis waterfront. Congressman Wesley Bell says expanding the boundaries of Gateway National Park is an important step for promoting growth. The bill's two other sponsors, Congressman Mike Bost and Congresswoman Ann Wagner, did not attend the announcement in Malcolm Martin's Memorial Park in East St. Louis. From East St. Louis, Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, a new apartment building coming to the Cortex Innovation District, and its location was no accident. Developer Keeley Properties is partnering with Cortex on the 174-unit project at Clayton and Sarah. Cortex District CEO Sam Fiorello says the site puts residents at the center of everything.
There are over 400 employers in Cortex, so a lot of workers come here, over 6,000 every day. It's 100 yards from a Metrolink stop. It's a very short walk.
It's the first new residential construction in the district in more than 20 years, and a second phase is already in the works. When we come back, we'll take another look at the wet roadways this morning and this stormy weather as well. This is Total Information AM at 6:08.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10. This is Total Information AM. This is Roger Brandt in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our jam out west, Debbie. On westbound 44, the jam's getting longer. We have a crash east of Stanton with lane blockage. Traffic's jammed almost midway back to the St. Clair rest area right now on westbound 44. It's not bothering eastbound 44 drivers. They're fine headed through the area. The rest of the interstate still lightly occupied so far. In fact, that slowdown we had eastbound 70 at Packers Avenue doesn't look so bad now. There is a little slowdown, though, approaching 25th Street on eastbound 64 and 255 at 64. There's been a little slowdown southbound, northbound 255, south of 15. I'm also seeing a little delay. And again, any of these areas could be just due to standing water from the earlier storms that moved through, especially in the work zones. But other than that, the rest of the interstates look great. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Glover here from my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
KMOX AccuWeather, periods of rain and a thunderstorm through the morning hours. Then this afternoon will be cloudy with a shower or two early. It'll become windy and turn cooler. Temperature will fall into the 40s. Breezy this evening, clearing and colder overnight, though 31. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, high 56. Friday will be breezy with a mix of sun and clouds, high 59. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. Currently in downtown St. Louis, we still have rain and 65 degrees. The news continues here on KMOX, and Congressman Wesley Bell is asking President Trump to follow the U.S. Constitution and go before Congress to explain this war in Iran. Bell wants the president to answer questions, including why America is doing this, what is the objective, and what is the exit strategy. So far, Bell doesn't have those answers. Instead, he accuses the president of constantly moving the goalposts.
So if we want to see peace in that region for all the people in it, we have to have that. We have to have a plan. You don't go into, as they say, wars in the Middle East are easy to start, but very difficult to end.
Bell is on the Armed Services Committee, and while there have been 3 classified briefings, the congressman says he knows less now. Senator Josh Hawley says President Trump should declare victory in Iran and do it now. Speaking on Fox News, Hawley ticked through what he called a complete dismantling of Iran's military capabilities.
We have totally destroyed forever their nuclear program. We have destroyed their ballistic missiles. We have destroyed their Navy. I mean, this has been a total success in whatever it's been, 11 days. And I thought the president's remarks last night that he could declare victory today and it would be a 100% victory, I think is true.
It is incredibly frustrating.
That is Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski talking about the war in Iran and how little Congress knows about the operation.
But one thing is abundantly clear.
Gas prices now increasing. That was kind of the one area that I think this administration was trying to hang its hat on, of a cost that wasn't going up for working people. And now that too. I think in my district, gas is about $3.52 a gallon.
Budzinski says the markets are reacting too.
This isn't a war game. This is people's lives. This is, I think, a failure of communication and a failure of direction and leadership.
Budzinski says the president's claims, like taking Iran's oil, is outrageous. The congresswoman adds there's no doubt the Iranian regime is a terrorist organization, but she's concerned that the new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, does not represent a change. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
I
Tom Ackerman with the Cardinals here in Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals take on the Nationals today at 12:05. Stephen Carey and Mike Claiborne will join me for the broadcast at 12:05 on Cardinals.com and KMOX.com. It'll be Dustin May against Cade Cavalli. May making his second start of the spring, and the Cardinals are excited about what they saw first time around. 3-inning start. He was hitting speeds of 99 miles per hour with his fastball. The 6'6" right-hander is receiving $12.5 million this season. The Cardinals are going to try to put him near the top of their starting rotation. The Cardinals lost to the Mets yesterday. Final score was 6-1, but Nelson Velazquez zapped a home run out to left. He crushed one, a solo shot, his second of the spring, and the Cardinals feel good so far about the power off the bat of Velazquez. They would like to see more. They saw plenty of Joshua Baez. He made plenty of headlines around here early in the spring. And a rocket out to left for Baez. Hammered way out of here. It's a home run for Joshua Baez. He does it again, his third of the spring. The hype is real for the Cardinals prospect. That was on Monday against the Orioles. 3 home runs for Baez. After the game, though, he was optioned to AAA Memphis as the Cardinals want to continue to see progress and some AAA seasoning from one of their better prospects. Here is manager Ollie Marmol on what he's seen.
It's exactly what you want to see out of someone that's given the opportunity to come into camp, because he opened up some eyes, right? Like, he did a really nice job, but just not the homers. Obviously, that helps, but the way he went about his work, the way he communicated, everything else that leads to the homer is the part that gets you excited. It's a real skill set, and the way he works is just going to allow that to be more consistent. So I'm excited about him. He did a really nice job.
Keep your eye on Joshua Baez as he progresses at AAA Memphis. The Cardinals and the Nationals today at 12:05 on your MLB app and Cardinals.com. World Baseball Classic major upset last night. Italy beat the United States 8-6. So the U.S. is not yet in the quarterfinals. They need Italy to beat Mexico tonight. If they don't, it's going to be a 3-way tie between the U.S., Italy, and Mexico. Only 2 teams can go to the quarterfinals, so it'll come down to math and run differential, runs allowed. That is not a good situation for the U.S. They need the Italians to do what they did to them last night. The Blues lost to the Islanders 4-3 in overtime, blew a 3-goal lead. Braden Shen was part of that, assisting on the overtime winner. The former Blues captain received a very nice tribute last night at Enterprise Center. 83 points for Bam Adebayo last night in the Heat win over the Wizards. That is the second most in history. Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 back in 1962, and now Bam Adebayo is part of history as he passes Kobe Bryant, who once scored 81 in a game, 83 points in a single game. College basketball, Missouri State wins over Florida International 75-72 in the CUSA tournament. They play the number 1 seed Liberty today at 5:30. Gonzaga punched its ticket last night, winning the West Coast Conference 79-68 over Santa Clara. SLU beat Santa Clara back in November. They're practicing for a Friday morning game against either Fordham or GW in the A-10 tournament. Robbie Avila is not practicing, dealing with plantar fasciitis at the moment. Missouri awaits the winner of today's game between Kentucky and LSU. They play at 11:30 in the SEC tournament. The Tigers will get them tomorrow at 11:30. Illinois plays Friday at 1:30 in the Big Ten tournament quarterfinals. In Jupiter, Florida, on the home of the Cardinals, I'm Tom Ackerman, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. FanDuel Sportsbook is my sportsbook. It's also the official sportsbook of KMOX. And right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days if your bet loses. So here's how it works. Pretty simple. Place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets. That's every single day for 10 straight days. So 10 chances to play along during the tournament, from game props and money lines to spreads, totals, you name it, it's there. And you can even mix things up with same game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. So however you want to fill out your bracket, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the action day after day. So just visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get signed up. FanDuel, it's time to dance. Remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Must apply select token each day. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable, and they expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. You can see terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:21, and this is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still have our issues out west, Debbie, with this crash. Westbound 44, east of Stanton. Traffic's jammed back midway to the St. Clair Rest area, so just have a little patience if you're traveling on westbound 44. We have a new rescue crash reported eastbound 70. It looks like it's just inside the city limits, just past Goodfellow. Traffic's backed up at Jennings Station. Emergency crews were dispatched there a few minutes ago. With the weather, we're starting to see slowdowns in the usual spots. Northbound 55, south of Butler Hill up to 270, from Bayless up to River to Pears, slow. North 270, Tesson Ferry most of the way to 44 is kind of heavy. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway onto 64, busy. 255 northbound still delays south of 15. And there's a minor crash, a car into the guardrail. I'm not sure if it's blocking any lanes, but that's the delay I've been talking about, eastbound 64 approaching 25th Street. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Business moves fast. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
It is now 6:22, and as far as the weather goes, the storms are moving through the area. So once we get through this period of storms and severe weather, the rest of the day, we're just looking at a lingering shower or two, becoming windy and turning cooler. Temperatures are going to be falling, though, because it's pretty warm out there right now, but things are going to fall into the 20s. I should say 40s. Sorry. It'll be 31 by the time we get to overnight. And then tomorrow and Friday, the sun returns, but temperatures will be in the mid to upper 50s. So again, periods of rain and a thunderstorm this morning. We do have some tornado or some thunderstorm watches across the region. We'll get you the full update from Joe Lundberg coming up here on KMOX. The American Legion Post was founded in St. Louis in 1919. In 2026 and many wars later, one by one, the community posts are closing. Not to build another gas station or a fast food restaurant. They're disappearing because of a lack of volunteers and participation.
St. Louis County Memorial Post 111 in Shrewsbury has been in existence since 1933, and it's holding its own because in part of its finance officer, Lee Smolzensky, a veteran who has been at the post for 44 years.
I am credited with 4 years of Air Force, 3 years Coast Guard.
So you were Coast Guard.
I am a minority, yes.
Why the switch?
That's a long, long story. And it's kind of a political situation whereby the Pentagon was saying we didn't have boots on the ground in Vietnam, and the Coast Guard came under the Treasury Department, and the Coast Guard was being sent to Vietnam to basically patrol the rivers and the ports. And I was transferred from the Air Force to the Coast Guard.
Did you want it?
I volunteered. I didn't know what I was really getting into. And it's the old story of beware of what you volunteer for.
Sometimes when you mention about the Coast Guard, we think because we only have a river here that we might not have that big of a Coast Guard operation, but that's not true then.
When they say shallow water sailors, the Coast Guard has a very, very large responsibility. I was trained to go over to Vietnam, but I ended up being assigned to an icebreaker that most people didn't understand that this also was the Coast Guard. We ran between Gargantua, Newfoundland, and Thule, Greenland. The east wind and the west wind cutters basically ran between Newfoundland and Thule, Greenland, and then the Norway and Denmark had icebreakers that kept the North Atlantic open. And then from there, it was a matter of going down, and we were involved with the Cuban Missile Crisis and the blockage of the Soviet ships trying to bring in weapons into Cuba at the time.
But that commitment that Smolensky has is disappearing. That's why posts are closing. And even more troubling, younger generations don't even know what an American Legion post is or how important they were to military members. It was a place to meet like-minded brothers and sisters, people who understood what you were feeling and going through because they were likely in the same boat, tank, bomber, or helicopter, literally. But the new wars, they do not turn to the American Legion posts. You've seen so much. You're here 44 years. What's your advice to young military people when they hear this? And you said it isn't necessarily a generation of you give to the community. It's kind of like what you can do for me. What do you say to that?
Well, I think that first of all, they should be proud that they have the realization of service to the country. It's not for everyone. It's something that it's kind of a calling, and they should be proud. They should be proud of what they do. Hopefully their family and those around them let them know that.
You know, we hear about military people when they come home. I'm specifically thinking of places like Afghanistan and Iraq, and they will talk about having problems adjusting. Things like the American Legion post, that would give them some camaraderie to meet with their fellow members.
That's what we try to provide to our members. The opportunity to basically relate to each other, basically to have a laugh out of a situation that maybe they can't explain to their family or to even their best friend and neighbor, but they can basically relate and talk about it to somebody who experienced something very similar.
When people hear this, if they want to get in touch with you, if they want to rent the hall, or what do they need to do?
All they have to do is contact American Legion Post 111 here in Shrewsbury. We'll get back to them immediately and be more than happy to assist them as far as planning any kind of activity, realizing it's a special event for them. We try to make it exactly that, a special event.
And there is another special event coming up, a big band dance Friday, April 24th. It is open to the public, and most importantly, every dollar will go right to the veterans. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It's 6:28, and that time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks. Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
It is 6:30, and right now we still have rain in downtown St. Louis. It is 65 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Here's Roger Brand with the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have this jam on westbound 44. If you're headed out through Franklin County, it's if you're headed that way, you've got some slow traffic coming in. In fact, I'm seeing delays westbound from just about the St. Clair Rest area out to a point just east of Stanton. We had a crash there, and westbound 44 is closed officially right now while they try to wrap that up. So that's why the jam's slowly getting longer. And eastbound 44, it could just be the weather, but I'm starting to see delays, just slow going though, from Highway 50 most of the way into 100 Washington. It's kind of busy in that stretch of Franklin County as well. Northbound 55, the right lane's a little slow north of Butler Hill. All lanes from Bayless up to Holly Hills are busy. North 270, Tesson Ferry through Gravois, Doherty Ferry through Manchester, right through Ladue. Those are slowdowns there. Southbound 61, busier now from Highway P down onto 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. And we still have this rescue crash. In fact, they had another call out for EMS eastbound 70. It's just past Riverview, it looks like. Traffic's only jammed between Lucas Hunt and Jennings Station right now, so it's not too terrible. And I'm still seeing a bit more of a backup now, northbound 255 because of that crash south of 15. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, the weather today should get better as we head through the day. We're going to have periods of rain and a thunderstorm this morning. The afternoon should just be cloudy with a lingering shower or two, but the temperatures will start to drop into the 40s. 31 overnight, and then the sun returns tomorrow and Friday with a few clouds, but the highs in the mid to upper 50s. Right now in downtown St. Louis, we still have rain, 65 degrees, and a tornado watch is spanning the southern Illinois counties into Indiana and Kentucky. The National Weather Service says that tornado watch is in effect until noon today, and it does include Franklin and Jefferson counties. About 1,300 customers without power in Madison County, Illinois, following those storms that moved through early this morning. Fewer than 1,000 customers without electricity right now in St. Louis County. And the National Weather Service says at least 4 suspected tornadoes touched down in Illinois and northwest Indiana. Those tornadoes spawned from the same supercell that tracked from Pontiac, Illinois to Wheaton, Indiana. Touchdowns reported in Pontiac and Lake Village in northeast Illinois. The National Weather Service says those storms also produced hail ranging in size from 2 to 4 inches in diameter. And people are cleaning up debris and checking on loved ones after tornadoes tore through Kankakee County in northeast Illinois and parts of northwest Indiana. The Kankakee County Sheriff's Office says that tornado touched down south of town near the local fairgrounds. They filed an emergency declaration with the state of Illinois. Power lines have been reported down across the county. In Newton County, Sheriff Shannon Cothran addressed residents.
We have Lake Village has experienced a tornado. There's several houses that have been hit, a lot of damage. Please do not come here.
More than 7,000 people were without power in the Kankakee area last night. This resident in Kankakee describing the damage to her property.
It just demolished our barn. Our barn's over there. We got sheds and everything, and we had a big barn. We also got a solar farm out here in the field, and it's just demolished them and messed them up too.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 6:34, and we will take a look at your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up next.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
It is 6:36. Total Information AM continues, and it's time for us to get a check of our Money Minute from Bloomberg. It's sponsored for you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The International Energy Agency is proposing a release of emergency oil reserves that would be the largest ever in its history. The IEA is looking at a range of about 300 million to 400 million barrels as governments look to contain the spike in energy prices. Sources tell us a decision is possible later today. Crude this morning is higher at $87 a barrel, while stock futures have taken a leg lower. S&P futures are down 7 points, Dow futures falling 115. Traders are also gearing up for inflation data later this morning after the latest jobs report challenged the thought that the labor market is stabilizing. The consumer price report will be out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And shares of Oracle are jumping in early trading after the company reported strong earnings results and gave a financial outlook that suggests there is little let up in demand for artificial intelligence computing. Oracle has found success by providing chip-filled data centers and other equipment for AI. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
A night of live rock you gotta see. Foghat and Nazareth. With special guest, The Babies. Saturday, May 2nd at the Family Arena. Foghat, Nazareth. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Nazareth and Foghat live. Sawyer Brown. Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do. And Lone Star. Every little thing that you do. Baby, I'm live this Saturday night at 7, the Family Arena. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Sawyer Brown and Lone Star together live.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain had started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's Cardinals preseason exhibition play today as they face the Nationals. Pregame 11:55, first pitch 12:05, and you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
It is 6:40, time for us to get you a check of the roadways and the weather. The weather might have woken you up in the middle of the night. It was storming through much of our listening area. We'll get you the very latest on what to expect from Joe Lundberg in just a moment. But first, here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we got a couple of crashes blocking out there right now. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. One in the city, eastbound 70, just past Riverview. It may be shut down. I know at least a couple of the lanes are blocked. It's a solid jam back between Bermuda and Lucas Hunt on eastbound 70 coming into the city. Eastbound 70 is also a little slow. East of the Blanchette Bridge into our city. Southbound 61P down onto 64 Lake St. Louis Boulevard, slow. North 270 from 55 up to most of the way up to 44. Big Bend to Manchester, Clayton Road to Ladue, that's all busy. Northbound 55 from the Union Road overpass up across River to Pear is heavy. Downtown westbound 64 past 159 is slow. 64 is also slow at the 70 split. Northbound Route 3, a train crossing in Monsanto. It's jammed back past Judith. Northbound 255, still a backup south of 15 from an earlier crash. And westbound 44, at last check, was still shut down at Stanton because of a wreck. Traffic's jammed back through the St. Clair Rest area westbound. Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. It's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Time to welcome back in our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. It's still raining downtown, but I don't think I've seen any lightning in some time.
No, we're pretty good with the thunderstorms now. They're pretty far removed to the east, and the severe weather threat has ended for the area. Still a couple of thunderstorms to our north and west, and the actual front is hanging out to our north and west. Really runs from near Quincy, Illinois, all the way down to, I think, Warrensburg. But areas north and west of that have quickly dropped into the low 40s, like in Kansas City. That's going to be our lot later today. So we'll have some rain, even a rumble of thunder this morning, and then a shower or two this afternoon. The wind will pick up as the front moves through during the late morning hours, and temperature will drop quickly into the 40s. A breezy evening, then clearing out overnight. By morning, we're down to 31. Sunshine tomorrow, a few wispy high clouds in the afternoon, the high temperature about 56. A breezy day Friday with sun and clouds and a high of 59. Some sunshine and becoming breezy Saturday with a high of 63. Another front comes through Sunday. We get some showers with it, maybe a thunderstorm. We start to 64 and then drop into the 40s. It'll be pretty cold to start next week on Monday. Right now across the area, 59 degrees at St. Peter's, 58 in Florissant, just raining, and 61 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It is 6:43. Someone who isn't a city employee may have been getting free parking on the city's dime. St. Louis Magazine reporting that a woman personally connected to city treasurer Adam Lane has regularly parked outside her South City boutique using a city-issued exemption tag, and 2 tickets issued to that vehicle were voided. Lane's office did not comment. The former U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C. is facing ethics charges. Ed Martin, formerly a St. Louis lawyer and political operative, is accused by the D.C. Bar of violating the First and Fifth Amendments of the Constitution. The bar says Martin made demands of Georgetown University Law School and threatened them. Martin sent Georgetown a letter last February saying that a whistleblower claimed the school was teaching diversity, equity, and inclusion. Before waiting for the school's response, he then told them they were being sanctioned, and he was instructing staff not to hire any Georgetown students as fellows, interns, or employees. The Justice Department's response: the D.C. Bar is a partisan organization, they say. At last night's standing room only forum on data centers, Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson framed the decision in blunt terms.
Is this an opportunity that we may look back upon and wish we would not thrust aside? Or after all due diligence is done, is it simply not a good deal for us and we should be glad we walked away?
Water supply is among the biggest concern of residents. Illinois American Water Director of Engineering Brent O'Neill says the company has a plan to shield existing customers if the data center drives up water demand.
Should a data center require more water than our current source or treatment capacity allows, we are prepared to set clear limits on quality and the rate of flow that is available to the new large user, prioritizing the need of our existing customer base and protecting the community's water supply.
O'Neill adds any data center would be required to fund capacity upgrades out of pocket, so any expansion wouldn't fall on current ratepayers.
Jupiter, Florida, spring training home of the St. Louis Cardinals, Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Cardinals are hitting the road today. They're going to West Palm Beach, Florida to take on the Nationals. It's a 12:05 start, cardinals.com. Stephen Carey and Mike Claiborne will join me as we see Dustin May start against the Nationals' Cade Cavalli. Yesterday, the Cardinals lost to the Mets 6-1, but the one was a loud one. Next one is hammered out to left a long way. Tracking back to the wall. That ball is gone. It's a home run for Nelson Velasquez. He hits a bomb here in the first inning, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. Keep your eye on Nelson Velasquez. He has major league experience, good power, and the Cardinals are hoping to get that going in perhaps an outfield competition involving Velasquez, Nathan Church, and others. That left field spot is open. Right field, Jordan Walker, center field, Victor Scott, but nothing is a given in this era right now as the Cardinals are trying to settle in and see what they look like in 2026, 27, 28, and beyond. Willie McGee is here. He has arrived in Jupiter. He is going to be instructing in minor league camp, so that's always exciting. I saw Colton Wong arrive here yesterday. He's arrived as an instructor as the Cardinals involve their alumni. We got ourselves an issue in the World Baseball Classic for the United States. They got upset last night, 8-6 by Italy. And that's a problem because if Italy doesn't beat Mexico tonight, and Mexico, as we know, has plenty of talent, the U.S. is going to have to hope that they win by math. This is about runs allowed right now, and they've allowed twice as many runs as Mexico has had. So watch out here. Italy's got to beat Mexico, or the United States could be in trouble in getting to the quarterfinals. Only two teams out of this pool get in, and if Italy loses to Mexico, it'll be a three-way tie between the U.S., Italy, and Mexico. The Blues lost to the Islanders last night, 4-3 in overtime. Before all of that, an absolutely fantastic tribute to Braden Shen, the former captain.
Blues fans, join us in celebrating a Stanley Cup champion and the 24th captain in Blues history, number 10, Braden Shen.
Shen was emotional as he watched a highlight tribute up on the video board at Enterprise Center. He tapped his heart, skated around a little bit during that stoppage in play as the crowd showered him with applause. Shen, the captain for the Blues and a big contributor to their Stanley Cup run in 2019. College basketball, Robbie Avila is not practicing right now for SLU. He has plantar fasciitis. They, of course, hope to have him Friday morning when they take on the winner of Fordham and GW in the A-10 tournament. How about 83 points for Bam Adebayo last night for the Miami Heat and their win over the Wizards just south of us here in Miami? That is the most points ever behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100 back in 1962. 83 points in a game. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
When you've been injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or in a medical mishap, there are many reasons to call Morgan & Morgan. But here's reason number 5. We try more cases than anyone in America by a wide margin. We are on approximately 150 dockets a week and win a lot. Go to forthepeople.com to see our verdicts and results. I believe our results give you the best chance of a fair, fast, and just settlement. Insurance companies know who we are by reputation. Imagine me doing this ad if it wasn't true. They would be laughing. Trust me, nobody is laughing. Their employees and adjusters often hire us when they're hurt. They know, and now you know. All law firms are not alike, not even close. With over $30 billion collected for our clients, we became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for Burn Balance Complex, which is the latest tool you can find at supplement superstores. It is top of the line. This is a complete metabolism system, not just a fat burner. So you get the metabolism boost, all-day focused energy with no jitters or crash. You get help with appetite control and cravings, and it'll reduce stress by lowering cortisol levels. It is a fantastic tool, especially for those who don't want prescriptions or injections. So get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
St. Louis's unofficial holiday is almost here. It's Cardinals opening day, Thursday, March 26th. And KMOX's Cakes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back. This year with a new twist. You don't need a ticket to enjoy KMOX's live broadcast at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, featuring Cardinals alumni, front office personnel, special guests, and so much more. First come, first serve. Doors open at 9 a.m. Celebrate this hometown holiday with Dirt Cheap and Budweiser. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:50. Let's check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it looks like we're doing a little bit better on eastbound Highway 70, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. We still have a jam, though. The jam goes back through Bermuda up to about Jennings Station. Now, the crash earlier, Easter Riverview, has been cleared. There could be one now at Jennings Station because the jam looks pretty solid to that point, but the initial crash is out of the way. Other than that, eastbound 70, you've got slow traffic east of A to Bryan Road, K to TR Hughes, a little bit busy, the Blanchett and Dirt City. 370 approaching 94 across the Discovery Bridge. Roadwork is slowing you down. Southbound 61, Highway P onto 64 at the Boulevard's busy. Northbound 270, 55 to 44, Doherty Ferry up to Ladue. That's all slow. Northbound 55, Union Road overpass up to River to Perry. Got delays. Still have this jam. Route 3 train crossing in Monsanto. Northbound Route 3 is jammed back south of Jerome. It's almost back to Camp Jackson. And same thing, northbound 255, still a jam up to that crash south of Route 15. And there's still a jam westbound 44 through the St. Clair Rest area. Midway to Stanton, it looks like it's opening up a bit on the front end, so they may have that crash cleared. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Weather-wise, we do have storms moving through, but for the most part, all the watches and warnings should be expiring, and it's just going to be a lingering shower or two, cloudy skies for the rest of the day. We started out early this morning at 68 degrees, and the temperature's already dropping. It's going to keep dropping throughout the day until we're in the 40s later this afternoon. It'll end up about 31 degrees overnight, and then we're done with rain until at least Sunday. Looks like tomorrow and Friday we'll have sunny to partly cloudy skies and highs in the mid to upper 50s. Right now it's 63 degrees with rain in downtown St. Louis. It's 6:53 and the news continues. Hey, what's the 311? You might see city officials today wearing those buttons for the kickoff of 311 on March 11th, 311. 311 is a new way to connect residents with city services or report an issue like an abandoned car or a water main leak. Karen Clifford is with Neighborhood Stabilization.
It started back in 1996, and most of your major cities already have it. New York, LA, Atlanta, Columbus, now us. And it really started last year, right after the tornado. And so we didn't really have a chance to get this publicized or kicked off.
Clifford says people can still call the regular phone number, but 311 is easier to remember. And you can still report problems to the CSB on Twitter, X, or now also on Blue Sky. Missouri lawmakers are pushing to permanently fund the 988 crisis hotline proposed by Republican Representative John Black and Democratic Senator Patty Lewis. The bills aim to create a fund for the state's suicide and crisis lifeline. Funding would come from a potential 62-cent tax on retail transactions involving phones and similar technology. Lauren Ross is with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. She says the creation of a fund for 988 is supported on both sides of the aisle, but where that funding comes from might be the difficult part.
Funding can be a little more difficult just because everyone wants funding for everything. Part of what we're hoping to do tomorrow is get additional co-sponsors for those bills.
Both bills are currently awaiting their first vote. A bill to end Missouri's death penalty got its first hearing Monday at the Capitol. Matthew Crowell, who leads the Missouri Public Defender System, backed the bill and said death penalty cases are among the most expensive in the entire justice system.
So just in salaries for my attorneys in these offices, we're approaching $3 million. Almost every case requires extensive work with experts, which requires us to hire and pay experts in a variety of fields, and cases require extensive travel, not just in Missouri, but outside as well. Again, those costs add up to the tune of nearly $1 million a year.
The House bill is sponsored by Republican Representative Jim Murphy with a companion measure in the Senate from Arnold Republican Mary Elizabeth Coleman. And during Monday's hearing, no one spoke against the proposal. By the way, Bo and Claire made their debut yesterday at the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. Claire and Bo are North American river otters. The 4-year-olds come to St. Louis from a sanctuary where they were born to parents from Louisiana. The original otters at the aquarium, Thatcher, Sawyer, and Finn, have moved on. They're now at facilities that, according to the aquarium, will allow them to continue thriving while supporting the long-term sustainability of their species, reflecting what's best for their growth and well-being.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
All right, happy birthday wishes going out to someone who is not from St. Louis, but whose father is.
In every life we have some
Bobby McFerrin, born 76 years ago. Also, let's see, we've had a lot of local celebrity birthdays today, including Danielle Knittig. Danielle's birthday is today. Also, John Spring from Your Whole Family. Happy 18th birthday to Ellie Dieters from Mom, Dad, and her brother Alex. And oh my gosh, look at this. Fred Bottomer is celebrating a birthday today. He is our utility player here at KMOX. Happy birthday to Fred.
This is the best birthday ever.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. or head to rbastl.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 0% financing for 36 months, plus $500 off your project. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Indian psychic and spiritual healer in St. Louis. Call 314-574-2667. Expert specialist in reuniting loved ones and husband and wife issues, family problems, and unnatural health and sickness, business and job-related issues. Special remedies to deal with negative energy, love spells, black magic issues, evil energies, and curse removal. Performs all type of spiritual prayers to heal the negative energy, balance the chakras, and much more. Contact Master Raj at 314-574-2667.
Here's Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, eastbound 70 is doing better. There's just a little delay now, Jennings Station through Riverview, so they did clear those crashes and things are back to normal there. We still have this jam westbound 44. Now it runs on both sides of the St. Clair Rest area. The original crash was at Stanton involving a semi, so it looks like the jam's getting better, but it is still backed up in that area. We have a crash westbound 70 at the 143 at the Highland Marine exit. There's a jam through there about a half, 3/4 of a mile at least if you're headed that way as well. Next update comes at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
Rodriguez, a line of devastating twisters has touched down in at least 5 states.
A large tornado hit our community and it hit us hard.
Lori Postma with the Lake Village, Indiana Fire Department. It reports at least 2 people were killed by a tornado that tore apart homes and down power lines. Another twister hit south of Chicago. Correspondent Lana Zach is there.
The tornado touched down just before nightfall, spinning across farmland in Kankakee County, Illinois. Its speed and force leaving residents stunned as it barreled towards their homes.
Heard a loud wind. Wind was really loud, and then all of a sudden it got quiet.
The storm so strong it also dumped softball-sized hail, which could be the largest that the state has ever seen.
Tens of thousands without power. The Iran war is now in day 12. Damage and debris in Tehran after news strikes on the capital. The U.S. is also focusing on a key shipping passage. Correspondent Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv.
The U.S. military says it's hunting Iranian mine-laying ships in the Persian Gulf, but Iran appears to have tightened its grip on the choke point of the Strait of Hormuz, through which 1/5 of the world's oil passes. Just this morning, 3 ships in the Persian Gulf reported being struck by suspected Iranian drones.
Germany and Austria say they're releasing parts of their oil reserves after the International Energy Agency requested its members help offset spiking energy prices blamed on the war. Here in the U.S., gasoline prices inched up another 4 cents overnight to a national average of $3.58 a gallon. Congressional investigators say alleged Medicare overpayments last year cost seniors billions of dollars.
The Bipartisan Joint Economic Committee says the average Medicare beneficiary paid $212 extra in premiums because of the overpayments to private Medicare Advantage plans. The overpayments totaled $13.4 billion. A congressional watchdog found Medicare Advantage plans cost a lot more than traditional Medicare because insurers are paid more to cover enrollees who have more health conditions. They boost their reimbursement by adding more diagnoses. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The battle for Marjorie Taylor Greene's old congressional seat is headed to a runoff. Democrat Sean Harris will face former Republican prosecutor Clayton Fuller in a test of the president's influence ahead of the midterms. Chief Washington analyst Robert Costa.
You see that President Trump's candidate won in a crowded primary, and that there's a lot of debate right now in the GOP, but at the end of the day, having his hand on the scale, it matters.
This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
It is 7:04, and right now we do have rain in downtown St. Louis. It is 63 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey. The National Weather Service now says at least 4 suspected tornadoes touched down in Illinois and northwest Indiana during severe storms overnight. The tornadoes spawned from the same supercell that tracked from Pontiac, Illinois to Wheaton, Indiana. Touchdowns reported in Pontiac in Illinois and Lake Village, Indiana. The National Weather Service says those storms also produced hail ranging in size from 2 to 4 inches in diameter. A tornado watch has been issued spanning from some southern Illinois counties into Indiana and Kentucky, and the National Weather Service says that watch will stay in effect until noon today. It includes Franklin and Jefferson counties. Roughly 1,300 customers without power in Madison County, Illinois, following storms from this morning. Fewer than 1,000 without electricity in St. Louis County. People are cleaning up debris and checking on loved ones after tornadoes tore through part of Kankakee County. The sheriff's office there says the tornado touched down south of Kankakee near their local fairgrounds, and officials have filed an emergency declaration with the state of Illinois. In Indiana, Newton County Sheriff Shannon Cothran addressed residents through social media.
We have Lake Village has experienced a tornado. There's several houses that have been hit, a lot of damage. Please do not come here.
Late last night, more than 7,000 people in the Kankakee area were without power. Amidst the St. Louis City police budget fight is a large increase in funds to maintain buildings. But without quotes, how do they know how much to ask for?
Board president says over half a dozen buildings have significant water and foundational damage as they are set to assume their responsibility. In the current fiscal year, the department received around $16 million from the city for those kinds of repairs, far below their current ask of $25 million. After acknowledging they have not received repair quotes, I asked board president Chris Saraceno to explain how they reached this number.
How did you arrive at that $25 million, and why not just use last year's number as a placeholder, especially when you don't know the estimated cost of all these repairs?
So those were the buildings that were currently needed the funding, and then those as well as that will need funding that will come over to us as well. It's an additional more of the buildings that will come over to us that we will inherit, and not knowing the infrastructure of those buildings.
Saraceno could not say how much they've spent this year. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page says long-term, they may need to cut staff and services in the county if new revenue can't be found. What if voters reject the online sales tax that he's been pushing for?
Page acknowledges it's possible as inflation ticks up and gas prices skyrocket. He says if it fails in August, he'll put it on the ballot in November.
Long term, if it fails, just keep putting it in front of voters.
I think we'll keep putting it in front of voters as we keep cutting services, and voters will have to make a choice, less services or new revenue. And that's where we're going to be.
Sam Page's time as county executive will end after this year. After announcing he will not seek re-election, the online tax failed in 2022 with 58% of voters rejecting the tax. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Over some objections, but with a bipartisan vote, county council members did move the internet sales tax forward. Republican Councilman Mike Archer says waiting any longer was not an option.
I think we're past the point of no return. And I think that we are out of time and that we need to get this tax in place at this time.
But public commenter Tom Sullivan argues that voters are already stretched thin.
Voters will be leery of any new taxes when they already question how current funds are being spent.
The measure now heads to final passage ahead of the August 4th ballot deadline.
From the KMOX Business Desk, Missouri's Attorney General filing suit against more than a dozen pharmacy benefit managers and drug manufacturers over the price of insulin. Catherine Hanaway's office alleges the companies manipulated the state's healthcare markets, which led to skyrocketing prices for insulin. The lawsuit claims manufacturers published prices of $300 to $400 for the same drugs that were sold in other countries for less than $5. Express Scripts, CVS, and United Health Group are among the companies named in the suit filed in St. Louis County Circuit Court. It's now 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather, and stay with us here on a stormy morning. It's 104.1 FM, KMOX. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, it's that time of year again, man. It's starting to warm up. And you know the sun's getting a little brighter. I can hear the crack of the bat.
Yeah, the true pros are doing just a little bit of stretching here and there, getting rid of those winter kinks, getting ready for those days that really count, Eddie. I'm talking about the ones you'll always remember at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Boy, now you got that right. It is all they can do to get ready for the lineup of the delicious eats, man. It's a half-pound Fat Eddie burger. Man, it's a hot chick on a stick, that big elwood on a stick, and you know the succulent peel and eat shrimp are sitting over there on deck.
You do know I have to stretch out a little bit before I start hitting that dance floor, listening to that live music 7 days a week on that huge outdoor patio.
Well, it's like any other training, man. You got to warm up to get that party face on. It's really difficult out there to have that much fun on that warm, toasty patio. You know, like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, it's Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
When it comes to lighting, Gray Bar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Gray Bar mode. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Experience music, magic, story, and wonder with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in Scheherazade, Magic and Myth. Feel bold energy and haunting beauty as violinist Leila Josefowitz performs Alban Berg's deeply moving Violin Concerto. Then be swept away by Scheherazade. Saturday, March 14th and Sunday, March 15th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Time for us to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got a miles-long jam on westbound 44, Debbie, coming out just west of St. Clair through the rest area. It opens up about midway out to Stanton, so they may be getting that crash cleared. It involved a tractor-trailer and a passenger vehicle. It occurred about 5:30 this morning, so there's still quite a backup, but the front end is looking a little bit better, so that's hopeful. Northbound 270, north of 55 through Gravois, slow. Doherty Ferry to Manchester, approaching Clayton Road all the way up to Ladue is busy. Southbound 61, midway between P and Winslow Parkway onto 64 through Prospect is slow. After that, it's just a little busy at the Interbelt. Eastbound 70, east of Lake St. Louis through T.R. Hughes, a couple of slow spots there. Westbound 270, a little slow at the Interbelt. South 170 bogs down at about the Parkway. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River de Pere, a little busy there. And then on the Illinois side, westbound 64, a little heavy at 159. If you're on eastbound 5570, some heavy traffic coming through Exchange. Still have a jam. Northbound Route 3, Jerome up to Monsanto because of a train crossing. And still have this crash westbound 70, west of 143 in the Highland Marine area, and a short jam there. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Periods of rain and a thunderstorm through the morning hours, then cloudy this afternoon with a lingering shower or two, mainly early. It'll become windy and turn cooler with time as temperatures fall into the 40s. Breezy through the evening hours, becoming clear and colder overnight, low 31. Sunshine mixing with a few clouds tomorrow, the high 56. Partly sunny and breezy Friday, the high 59. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Looks like the rain has stopped right now in downtown St. Louis. We have 63 degrees right now. The news continues at 7:12. Granite City's mayor addressed a packed public forum last night over the prospect of data center development coming to the Metro East.
If the deal's not right and it's not good for Granite City and it doesn't take into consideration tax breaks, considerable tax breaks for our overburdened taxes on our properties here in Granite, then it's just not a deal we'll do.
Mayor Mike Parkinson says there's been no formal offer, but companies are already sizing the area up for available land, power, and water. He tells residents the city is studying mistakes made in other communities and plans to use zoning requirements and tax negotiations as leverage before signing anything. Several companies want to build data centers in Missouri, and in many cases, those proposals have been followed by lawsuits to stop them from being built. University of Central Missouri economics professor Chris Acevedo says much of the blame for the lawsuits falls on the developers for being too secretive.
You can have something that's a good project that may create a lot of local benefits, but if you're secretive about it, it makes it look to people in the area as if you're going to tell them what's the best thing and they need to just sit back and let you handle it. I think that's a bad approach.
Acevedo tells MissouriNet being open and fully transparent won't eliminate all opposition, but he suggests it would go a long way toward building trust with local residents. A residential development years in the making is finally getting off the ground in the Cortex Innovation District. The 174-unit project at Clayton and Sarah has been in the planning stages for years, but stalled by high construction and borrowing costs. Now, Cortex CEO Sam Fiorello says it's becoming reality with developer Keeley Properties on board.
I'm really excited to see this go from schematic designs we've been looking at for a while to a hole in the ground and eventually a building coming out. And I'm looking forward to eventually the ribbon cutting and folks living in there and walking to work and giving additional vibrancy to this district.
The project sits 100 yards from the Cortex Metrolink station. A second phase of the project is already being planned. Energizer Park, home of St. Louis City SC, will go to the Dogs March 22nd. When Pups on the Pitch, presented by Purina, takes place, there is a yappy hour on the pitch. A limited number of tickets are available on Wednesday morning. That would be this morning at 10 a.m. A portion of the proceeds will benefit adoptable pets in the St. Louis region.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And by Happy Roof, we always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
A yappy hour. I like that. The Purina Pooches at the ballpark will be on April 25th for the Cardinals. Tom Ackerman coming to you from Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals in spring training here. They take on the Nationals today at 12:05. We'll have it for you at cardinals.com. Dustin May against Cade Cavalli in that one. Cards lost to the Mets yesterday, 6-1. Nelson Velasquez hit a big home run in that one. Willie McGee is in camp. He's a minor league instructor. Good to see him. Colton Wong arrived here yesterday, so the Cardinals getting their alumni involved. We're going to see after May pitches today down in West Palm, Matt Swanson, who is competing for a spot as the closer. It looks like he is the leading candidate for that. Also, Hunter Dobbins, who's coming back from ACL surgery, and it looks like he's getting much, much closer. He's going to throw a bullpen this morning. So that's encouraging news. You know what else is encouraging? The Cardinals have a big-time prospect that's coming. He was optioned to Memphis officially right after he did this. And a rocket out to left for Baez. Hammered way out of here. It's a home run for Joshua Baez. He does it again, his third of the spring. The hype is real for the Cardinals prospect. He's a big-time prospect, 3 home runs already for Baez, and he was optioned to AAA Memphis. Don't be concerned about that. There is a very good chance you're going to see him back at some point this season, I would say, but he needs some seasoning at AAA. His attitude about everything, top-notch, and the way that he prepares. Here's Ollie Marmol.
It's exactly what you want to see out of someone that's given the opportunity to come into camp. Because he opened up some eyes, right? Like, he did a really nice job, but just not the homers. Obviously, that helps, but the way he went about his work, the way he communicated, everything else that leads to the homer is the part that gets you excited. It's a real skill set, and the way he works is just going to allow that to be more consistent. So I'm excited about him. He did a really nice job.
It was exciting to see what Baez was able to do. We'll keep an eye on him. Italy beats the United States in the World Baseball Classic 8-6. That is a problem because if Italy doesn't beat Mexico tonight, the U.S., Italy, and Mexico will be in a 3-way tie. Only 2 teams can get into the quarterfinals, and it's decided by runs allowed. So it could come down to math while the U.S. sits in its hotel in Houston. The Blues lost to the Islanders last night in overtime 4-3. They blew a 3-goal lead. Braden Shen assisted on the winner. He is the former Blues captain. Great tribute to him last night. College basketball, Missouri State advances in the CUSA tournament. They'll play the number 1 seed Liberty today. Robbie Avila is still not practicing for SLU. He has plantar fasciitis. We're 2 days away from their game Friday, 10:30 a.m. against either Fordham or GW in the A10 tournament. And Bam Adebayo, an NBA explosion for the Heat as they beat the Wizards last night. 83 points for him. That's the second most ever to Wilt Chamberlain's 100. I'm Tom Ackerman in Jupiter, Florida, on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Did you see the forecast? Another huge storm is tracking right for us.
I saw. Honestly, I'm not worried.
Not worried. Your roof is older than mine.
I called Happy Roof. They did a pre-storm inspection, caught a loose flashing that would have caused a major leak.
Wow, I really need that peace of mind.
Protect your happy place before the rain starts.
Booking my free inspection at thehappyroof.com or call 314-897-2310. It's all about the happy ending.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want, up to the amount you're approved, without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:21, time for us to get you updated on traffic and weather. The roads are probably going to be wet on your way in. Just take it easy. Roger Brand's got the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got a couple of miles long jam, maybe 3 miles, Debbie, westbound 44 west of St. Clair through the rest area proper, like midway out to Stanton. That's where we had a crash earlier this morning. So it was shut down. I can't tell if it's open yet, but there's still quite a backup, I can tell you, obviously, if you're headed that way. Northbound Highway 55, the right lane's a little busy at Butler Hill. It's backed up from Bayless up to River to Pear. North 270 from 55 to 44. Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. That's busy the whole way through. Eastbound 70, a couple of slow spots. Bryan Road into TR Hughes around Cave Springs. At Air Flight, there's a minor crash with the right lane blocked. Westbound 270, an incident just past 170 has it slow from about New Florissant. And 370 eastbound 94 through the Discovery Bridge is busy. 64 from 70, most of the way to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, a little heavy at Clarkson, and from McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, typically slow. On the Illinois side, 5570 between 64 and 203, you have delays both ways. Could be clogged storm drains. Westbound 64 heavy both sides of 159, and westbound 70 backed up both sides of 143. There's a westbound crash just west of there. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, once these storms move out this morning, we might see a lingering shower or two as we head into the afternoon. Cloudy skies, but the temperature is going to be the big story then, because it's going to fall into the 40s. It'll be about a 20-degree swing from today, from earlier this morning, I should say. It'll end at 31 degrees overnight, 56 tomorrow with sunshine returning, and sun and clouds 59 on Friday. Currently, it's 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Hey, what's the 311? Well, that has new meaning in St. Louis City. Joining me right now, Brett Delaria with the Department of Public Safety and Karen Clifford with the Neighborhood Stabilization Division. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so I know people are normally used to hearing the 411, but Brett, what's the 311?
Well, 311 is a brand new, fantastic way to connect city residents with city services. So we're asking, what's the 311? We want to know what's going on in your neighborhood. And before, when you tried to contact the Neighborhood Stabilization Division to put in a service request, there was a longer number you had to call. But now, if you're within city limits, it's simple. You just got to dial 311 and you'll get connected immediately.
Now, Karen, I, as a city resident, have filed things on Twitter with the CSB, but I've quit Twitter in the last couple of years. And then I thought, how do I do this now? So can I use 311 instead?
You sure can. 311 is just the shorter version, as Brett had indicated, for dialing CSB. You'll receive the same people, the same great service from the CSRs to help you get your city services, or to answer questions that are coming up, like tomorrow. Yard waste resumes. That's a big thing. People have been asking. That's been on social media, and they've been getting calls. So just dial 311, and 311 is not really something new. It's new to us, but it's started back in 1996, and most of your major cities already have it. New York, LA, Atlanta, Columbus, now us. And it really started last year, right after the tornado. And so we didn't really have a chance to get this publicized or kicked off officially. So what better way than to do it on March 11th, which is 311. So.
Excellent. So when people call that, what generally is going to happen? They're talking to a person, or they're filing it as a recording? What do they do?
The first step will be they will reach the recording, and they'll go through the steps, and they can actually file it through what we call IVA. Or then if they do need to speak to a representative, they will be transferred. So it works the same way as if they had always been doing it, dialing up the 622-4800, but just 311 takes you to the same outlet too.
And Brett, this obviously is not a replacement for 911 if you have an emergency, but what kind of things other than emergencies can people call into 311?
Absolutely. So for 311, it can be simple things. There may be a car in your neighborhood that needs to be towed. Maybe there is a water main break that you want to report. You can utilize that. So it's the same piece of that has always been there. It's just a new way and quicker way for residents to be able to remember how to reach out. Of course, as Karen said, they can still call the regular line number, but they can also, as you noted, they can tweet that. They can reach out via social media to report their needs. But basically, any non-emergency service related to that they need for help with the city service division, they can utilize 311 to reach out to the city. It's a great way to create that accessibility and connectivity.
And Karen, you said this has actually been in service for about a year, but I guess people didn't really know about it. Have people been using it? Has the word gotten out a little bit?
Yes, they have. The mayor is a strong proponent for this. Mayor Spencer you'll see her referring to the 311, send her a call 311. So she is a strong proponent. She was the one that brought it to our attention to make sure that we did get the 311 established in the city of St. Louis. And it did happen at the time with the tornado. So she really started announcing it during her press conferences and in her town halls. And just yesterday, she had her button on that asked me about the 311. So it really, she's been a strong proponent, and we're hoping that it takes off even more now that we're trying to make the awareness. People are aware of it. It's been in media, it's been in the brochures and everything, but sometimes people still like to dial the long one, which is fine, but now you have the 311.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the 311 or neighborhood safety?
No, I think it's a great opportunity for residents to get connected to the city. The city is here to serve the residents of St. Louis. This is just another way for us to be able to be at the forefront to answering their needs and their questions. So use 311 and tell us what's going on in your neighborhood.
That is Brett Delaria with the Department of Public Safety in St. Louis City, along with Karen Clifford with the Neighborhood Stabilization Division. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is now 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney.
This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Attention St. Louis sports enthusiasts. On March 24th, the Blues and Cardinals join forces for a night of STL sports fandom. It's Cardinals night. Immerse yourself in the ultimate celebration of our city's passion for sports when the Blues take on the Washington Capitals and Enterprise Center. Theme night buyers will take home an exclusive Blues and Cardinals co-branded quarter zip, perfect for showing your support for both teams. Get your tickets now at stlouisblues.com/promotions.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Sound Physicians of Illinois LLC, DBA Sound Physicians of Missouri 3, has multiple openings for hospitalist physicians in Bridgeton, Missouri. Some of the job duties include to diagnose, treat, and provide general internal medicine and inpatient care for hospitalized adult patients. Must possess or be eligible to possess a valid state license to practice medicine in Missouri and have completed 3 years of residency training in family or internal medicine. Medical degree or foreign equivalent required. To apply, email Maggie McClooney at belong@soundphysicians.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
It is now 7:30, and we do have a bit of drizzle in the region, 63 degrees right now. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got a big jam and restrictions, obviously, Debbie. Westbound 44 west of St. Clair from even before you get to the rest area, most of the way into Stanton. It was an earlier crash this morning about 2 hours ago that involved a semi and a passenger car that had it completely shut down. Still significant backups in the area. Northbound 55, the right lanes, Butler Hill to 270 are slow. All lanes backed up. Union Road overpass up through Weber, slow to about Loughborough. North 270 from 55 through Gravois, from north of 44 all the way to Ladue. That's busy. South 270 through 364, and then Olive down to 64 is heavy. Eastbound Highway 70, Lake St. Louis Boulevard into almost Highway K. 370 through Cave Springs, a little slow. Passing Air Flight where we had a crash in the right lane. Westbound 270 delays now from almost West Florissant into the Inner Belt because of an incident we had there. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down to 64 to the Boulevard's heavy. Slow. Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake. East of Lindbergh through the Inner Belt. The Inner Belt's backed up from Delmar down to 64. Westbound 64 pretty heavy. Hampton out through Big Bend on the Illinois side. 5570 east of 203 up to 64, and eastbound's jammed there as well through Exchange, maybe clogged storm drains backed up both ways. 64 westbound 50 past 159 delays, and there's still a short jam up westbound 70 past 143 due to a crash. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, the weather is going to get better once these storms move out this morning. We're looking at maybe a lingering shower or two this afternoon, but the temperature will be the story this afternoon because we started out earlier this morning at 68 degrees. It's going to drop into the 40s this afternoon, and then by tonight, we'll bottom out somewhere around 31 degrees. And then tomorrow and Friday, we'll have more sunshine with highs in the mid to upper 50s. Right now, drizzle and 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis. A current tornado watch spanning from some southern Illinois counties into Indiana and Kentucky. The National Weather Service says that watch is in effect until noon today. It encompasses more than 20 Illinois counties, including Franklin and Jefferson. Roughly 1,300 customers without power in Madison County, Illinois, following those storms that moved through overnight and early this morning. Fewer than 1,000 customers without electricity in St. Louis County. The National Weather Service now says at least 4 suspected tornadoes touched down in Illinois and northwest Indiana. The tornadoes spawned from the same supercell that tracked from Pontiac, Illinois to Wheaton, Indiana. Touchdowns reported in Pontiac and Lake Village in northeast Illinois and Indiana. The National Weather Service says those storms also produced hail ranging in size from 2 to 4 inches in diameter. This Kankakee, Illinois resident describes the damage done by that tornado on her property.
It just demolished our barn. Our barn's over there. We got sheds and everything, and we had a big barn. We also got a solar farm out here in the field, and it's just demolished them and messed them up too.
The couple killed in a Jefferson County house fire have been identified by their family. Members of that family say 84-year-old Henry Hoyer and his wife, 73-year-old Susan, were killed. KSDK reporting it started a little before midnight Monday at the couple's home in DeSoto. DeSoto Rural Fire Protection District Chief Tom Fitzgerald said the house was already engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived on the scene. They had to haul in water from 10 surrounding districts since there are no fire hydrants near that rural home. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll take a look at your Money Minute coming up next at 7:34.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other. Yeah. There's just a huge problem in your life, and then you win a giant jackpot. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is 7:36. Let's get you updated on your money report, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Governments are looking to contain the spike in energy prices driven by the war in the Middle East. Sources are telling us the International Energy Agency is proposing a release of emergency oil reserves that would be its largest ever in history. Oil pushing higher despite these developments. Crude is up 6% to $88 a barrel. Oil's move putting pressure on stocks. Futures are falling this morning as the conflict rages into a second week. Later this morning, traders will be watching for key data on inflation. The consumer price report will be released before the opening bell. And Nintendo shares are soaring this morning on the surprise success of its new Pokemon game. Pokemon Pokopia was released exclusively for the Switch 2 console last Thursday, and it has sold out at several major retailers. Momentum for the Switch 2 is surging due to the viral hit, and Amazon has already raised the price of the game to around $80 in a sign of its popularity. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Take a thrilling ride with your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra to the far reaches of space in John Williams and Kevin Putt's A Cosmic Journey. Experience Kevin Putt's otherworldly concerto Contact, featuring the Grammy Award-winning trio Time for Three. Then soar through the unforgettable music from John Williams' iconic film scores, including E.T. and Star Wars. March 20th and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Considering buying or selling a home? When it comes to the Gelman team with eXp Realty, numbers don't lie. Over 1,500 Google and Zillow 5-star reviews, nearly 6,000 homes, and $2.5 billion in real estate sold. Call 314-336-1991. TheGelmanTeam.com.
It's Cardinals preseason exhibition play today as they face the Nationals. Pregame 11:55, first pitch 12:05, and you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
It is 7:40, time for us to get you a checkup of traffic and weather. Both could be or have been challenging at times this morning for sure. Roger Brand joins us with the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, Debbie, and I can finally see the problem on westbound 270 in North County. It's a crash westbound 270 right just past New Florissant. It looks like the two left lanes are shut down, so it's jammed back to almost Newhall's Ferry now on westbound Highway 270. Eastbound 370 approaching 94 through the Discovery Bridge. Roadwork slowdowns. Eastbound 70 east of A in through Bryan Road's busy. 370 to Cave Springs. And it's bogged down from the Rock Road up to Airflight. We had a minor crash in the right lane there. Southbound 61 Wentzville Parkway into 64 to Bata Boulevard. Through the Chesterfield Parkway West area to Timberlake. From Lindbergh all the way in through Big Bend. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley's heavy. South 270 backs up. 364 down through Olive, then it opens up. North 270, 55 to Ladue is slow. Northbound 55, the right lane's at Butler Hill. It's backed up from the Union Road overpass in pockets up through Holly Hills. Northbound Route 3, jam coming up through Monsanto because of a train. It's backed up to Jerome. East and westbound 5570 at Exchange, you've got a backup. Westbound goes almost back to 111. And westbound 44, they do have the left lane open now past that crash before Stanton, but it is still jammed west of St. Clair in pockets. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's get the very latest from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. Things seem a lot calmer right now in downtown St. Louis.
They are, Debbie. I mean, there's still some thunder and lightning to contend with some of these showers, and that extends back to the front. That's working its way slowly but surely toward the through the Hannibal area. It's just about to go through Columbia. I mean, it's 58 there now, but any place north and west of it, it's in the 40s, about 40 in Kansas City right now. That's all moving our way today. So it may be balmy right now. We'll get a couple more showers and the thunders from between now and I'd say about 11 o'clock. Then after that, just a couple of light rain showers by 3. That should all be gone. But in the process, the wind picks up and it drives temperatures down into the 40s. Skies will clear tonight when you wake up tomorrow morning, or it's going to be at or below freezing. Sunshine tomorrow mixing with a few high clouds. Nice day. The high 56, just not the warmth that we had yesterday. A breezy day on Friday with sun and clouds, the high 59. Some sunshine Saturday, we get up to 63. Mid-60s Sunday in the morning, but in the afternoon, a front comes through and temperature will fall into the 40s. Could be a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm as that front moves through. 59 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. It's raining still, and 61 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 7:43, and the news continues. Congressman Wesley Bell is asking President Trump to follow the Constitution and go before Congress to explain the war in Iran. Bell wants the president to answer questions, including why America is doing this, what the objectives are, and what the exit strategy is. So far, Bell does not have those answers. Instead, he accuses the president of constantly moving the goalposts.
So if we want to see peace in that region for all the people in it, we have to have that. We have to have a plan. You don't go into, as they say, wars in the Middle East are easy to start, but very difficult to end.
Bell is on the Armed Services Committee, and while there have been 3 classified briefings, Bell says he knows even less now. Meanwhile, Senator Josh Hawley, is praising the U.S. military campaign in Iran, calling it an historic success. Hawley made those comments on Fox News as the so far dozen-day operation continues.
This military has done an incredible job. We need to celebrate them and say, job well done. I mean, if this isn't success, I don't know what would be.
Hawley credits the operation with neutralizing Iran's nuclear program, ballistic missiles, and Navy. Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski wants to know what the President Trump strategy is and why America is in Iran.
We all can agree that that regime over there is acts as a terrorist organization, has repressed its people. Them not being, at least the Ayatollah, now they've announced a new leader, which is his son, who I think is just a younger version of his father.
Bazinski wants to know what has the U.S. accomplished and believes the American people deserve to know.
And I haven't even covered the fact that this is costing us billions of dollars. And why that's so outrageous is we can find billions of dollars for wars in faraway places, but we can't find billions of dollars to make sure that the children in our own communities don't go to school on an empty belly. And I just think that is so fundamentally wrong.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Welcome back to Jupiter. Tom Ackerman with you. Cardinals spring training here at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. It is Wednesday, March 11th, and the Cardinals have 2 weeks from tomorrow until opening day, March 26th. So the roster is starting to take shape here. The Cardinals starter Dustin May is making the start today. Matt Swanson, the potential closer, is going to be one of the pitchers performing today. Justin Brule, who's competing for a spot on the left side of the bullpen, will be in there today, and the Cardinals will take on the Washington Nationals down in West Palm Beach, Florida. Cardinals lost to the Mets yesterday 6-1. Nelson Velasquez, who's fighting for a spot in the outfield, hit a home run right out of the gate, a long home run off the scoreboard and left, his second of the spring. Joshua Baez, a little bit more on him. Now, he hit 3 home runs in Grapefruit League play. He is going to start the season at AAA Memphis. He was optioned earlier this week. But don't forget, he is somebody that the Cardinals are very high on. They watch him very closely, and it's not just about the home runs. It's his overall attitude that they love. Here's manager Ollie Marmol.
One of the things you see sometimes, and I know this won't be the case with them, is you send somebody out of big league camp, they get into a bigger camp, minor league camp, more bodies, more moving parts, and you lose a week while they think they already accomplished something. This kid's going to go down there, he's going to put his head down, and he's going to get right after it. And that's what's going to allow him to get back up here and help us at some point, is just the way he goes about that work. So, yeah, staying head down.
Cardinals are watching all of their prospects closely. They have a bunch of them today. Willie McGee's actually in town to be a minor league instructor. Colton Wong got here yesterday. It's a good time to be a Cardinals prospect with that kind of instruction. The World Baseball Classic, Italy upset the United States last night 8-6. That's not a good thing. Not yet in the quarterfinals. The United States is going to have to need Italy to beat Mexico tonight. If they don't, it's a three-way tie between Italy, Mexico, and the U.S. with only 2 spots moving into the quarterfinals, and 2 of those teams are going to advance based on runs allowed. The Blues lost to the Islanders in overtime last night 4-3. Former Blues captain Braden Shen honored during the game, assisted on the game winner by Matthew Barzal. Bam Adebayo, the Heat forward, had 83 points last night in a win over the Wizards. That's the most in an NBA game since Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 in 1962. Robbie Avila is not practicing right now for SLU. The Billikens play Friday morning at 10:30 against the winner of Fordham and GW in the A10 tournament. He has plantar fasciitis. They are moving him along and hope to have him on Friday morning. In Jupiter with the Cardinals, I'm Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-all-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisement.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:50, and it's time to get you updated on the roadways and the weather, the worst of which looks like it's already moved through. So that is good news this morning. Hopefully good news on your ride in. Roger Brand's got the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it depends on where you are, Debbie. Of course, we have a couple of crashes now on 270 blocking the left lanes. The one in North County, westbound 270, just past New Florissant. Left lane's blocked. It's a solid jam back to Old Halls Ferry. And now a new crash. Sort of having to dodge this one. It's in the 2 left lanes, but there's a little bit of a gap between them, so folks are weaving through. Southbound 270 just immediately south of Olive. Traffic's jammed midway between Dorset and 364 down to that one. Northbound 270, 55 all the way to Ladue. That's heavy. Eastbound 70, a little slow. A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. 370 to Cave Springs. From the Blanchette Bridge into the airport, we had that minor crash in the right lane at Air Flight. Eastbound 64, a little busy at Prospect and Clarkson. Pockets from Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Science Center to Hanley slow. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Northbound 55 Bayless up through Virginia's heavy. 5570 both ways through Exchange. And westbound near 111. Maybe clogged storm drains there. Westbound 70 still a jam. Both sides of 143 due to that crash. And left lane still blocked. Westbound 44 before Stanton. Traffic backed up in pockets west of St. Clair. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 7:52, and we are going to have a day with a lingering shower or two, becoming windy and turning colder with temperatures dropping into the 40s. Right now it's 64 degrees. So expect that you'll leave feeling like it's nice, and then this afternoon it'll be downright chilly. The news continues. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and the former U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C. is facing ethics charges. Ed Martin, a former St. Louis lawyer and political operative, is accused by the D.C. bar of violating the First and Fifth Amendments of the Constitution. The bar says Martin made demands of Georgetown University Law School and threatened them. Martin sent a letter to Georgetown last February saying that a whistleblower claimed the school was teaching diversity, equity, and inclusion. Before waiting for the school's response, he told them they were being sanctioned and he was instructing staff not to hire any Georgetown students or fellows, interns, or employees. The Justice Department's response is that the D.C. bar is a partisan organization. The Missouri Supreme Court hearing arguments this week on whether the so-called Missouri First map is constitutional or not. Opponents' main argument focuses on that map being passed by lawmakers without any new data from the U.S. Census Bureau. Attorney Chuck Hatfield represents those challenging the map passed by Republican lawmakers last fall in order to give Republicans an advantage in the upcoming midterms.
The whole idea is tethered to the census data. You must do it at the census, and you only do it at the census. The court's precedents also support this.
Attorneys for the state argue that the Missouri Constitution is silent on the mid-decade redistricting and that the practice was common in the U.S. during the early 20th century. Missouri lawmakers considering permanently funding the state's crisis hotline. There are two bills at play in the State House aiming to create a fund for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Funding would come from a proposed 62-cent tax on retail transactions involving phones and similar technology. The legislation comes as the state continues to have one of the highest suicide rates in the nation. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Missouri chapter, reports the state has seen more than 130% increase in the usage of this hotline since May 2022.
We have seen an increase the last several years, but it's increased the number of calls to 988, which means people are realizing that they need help and they're reaching out to 988 to get that help, which is one of our goals.
That's Lauren Ross with the Missouri chapter. She says the bills are needed to ensure the hotline stays funded so people can get the help they need. Advocates from the Missouri chapter will be visiting Jefferson City today in support of those bills. St. Louis Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky was in Jefferson City Monday to testify in favor of a House bill that would repeal Missouri's death penalty. During the hearing, Rosansky told House lawmakers that Pope John Paul II, during his visit to St. Louis in 1999, renewed the appeal to do away with the death penalty.
And I quote Pope John Paul II, "The new evangelization calls for followers of Christ who are unconditionally pro-life, who will proclaim, celebrate, and serve the gospel of life in every situation."
The House version is sponsored by St. Louis County Republican Representative Jim Murphy, with Arnold Republican Mary Elizabeth Coleman handling the companion bill in the Senate, and no one opposed the bill to do away with Missouri's death penalty. Lawmakers also advancing a plan to merge St. Louis Dome and Convention Center. It would merge the Regional Convention and Sports Complex, which oversees the Dome, with Explore St. Louis, the group in charge of the Convention Center. That bill passed the House Monday. It aims to unify the operations and funding of both venues, something the owners of the Dome have been struggling with since the Rams left in 2016. That bill is now awaiting a vote in the Senate. And it's 314 Day. It's been around for 20 years, a way to celebrate St. Louis and all the great things in the region. Tony Weish with Greater St. Louis Inc. says it's now more like a whole week of celebrating. Things kicked off Monday. To get all the details,
STL.com/314day, and there'll be a whole list of everything taking place each day. You can sort that by the type of event you want to do, whether that's a concert or music or whatever you want to celebrate.
It's 7:57.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
This season, step up to the ultimate game day experience with Cardinals all-inclusive tickets. Enjoy a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views inside Busch Stadium. It's great food with great company for every pitch, hit, and home run. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Proficient Red Jacket Club, and more. See the game like a VIP with all-inclusive tickets. On sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. You know, they do such a great job. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes now. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet clean for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and let them know that Dave sent you.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to RBASTL.com.
Here is Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our 270 jams due to crashes, Debbie. Westbound 270 is on the brakes from Old Halls Ferry all the way past New Florissant, and that crash to the left lanes, and they're still blocking the 2 left lanes for the crash. Southbound 270 just immediately south of Olive, traffic jams. South of Dorset and northbound Gawkers are jammed back at 64. Westbound 70 still has that short jam through 143 due to the crash, and westbound 44 still some delays near the St. Clair Rest area. Westbound, where we had that earlier crash east of Stanton, that is looking better there at least. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A severe storm system has spawned tornadoes across parts of the Midwest. One twister tore apart homes in Lake Village, Indiana, with deadly results. Fire Department spokeswoman Lori Postma.
We began going to where there was obvious damage, and we did locate some very injured people and 2 fatalities.
A tornado that touched down in Kankakee, Illinois, flattened entire blocks. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano says there's more bad weather ahead.
Today's action shouldn't be as supercellular, which gives you those EF3, AF4 giant long track tornadoes, but it will be widespread from Houston, Texas to Nashville, all the way up potentially to Philadelphia. And we'll see damaging winds, hail.
The war in the Middle East's entered day 12. Air raid sirens in Tel Aviv warn of incoming strikes. A neighborhood in Tehran battered as U.S. forces set their sights on Iranian mine-laying ships in the Persian Gulf. Correspondent Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv.
Arab states along the Gulf, including the U.S. bases they host, still face dozens of daily missiles and one-way attack drones. In Bahrain, drone strikes targeted a residential building and an oil refinery, which has been smoldering for days. Dubai's airport confirming it was targeted by 2 drones, which left 4 people wounded.
Both Germany and Austria say they're releasing parts of their oil reserves to offset energy price spikes. Here in the U.S., the average price for regular gasoline is up to $3.58 a gallon. Logan Gabbard, a trucker in Atlanta, is feeling it.
I was going to make plans at the end of March, but since gas prices have went up as much as they have, I can't go through with those plans now.
New fodder for the Fed. The pace of inflation held steady in February, rising at an annual rate of 2.4%. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
The big categories that really hurt Americans are categories like shelter, which is up 3% from a year ago, and medical care services, which are up by 4.1%.
The Social Security Administration's Inspector General is investigating a potential data breach by a former DOJ employee. CBS's Michael Wallace.
A whistleblower claims a former DOJ software engineer bragged about having the sensitive Social Security data of 500 million living and dead Americans on a thumb drive and planned to share the data with the government contractor he now works for. The Washington Post reports the former DOJ employee allegedly told the colleague he expected to receive a presidential pardon if he were ever convicted of a crime.
This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
It is 8:03, and this is Total Information AM. We've got some drizzle, 64 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey. The National Weather Service issuing a tornado watch until noon today that spans from some southern Illinois counties into Indiana and Kentucky, encompassing more than 20 Illinois counties, including Franklin and Jefferson, and roughly 1,300 customers still without power in Madison County, Illinois, following storms that moved through this morning. At least 4 suspected tornadoes touched down in Illinois and northwest Indiana, according to the National Weather Service. And those tornadoes spawned from the same supercell that tracked from Pontiac, Illinois into Wheaton, Indiana. Touchdowns reported in Pontiac, Illinois and Lake Village, Indiana. The National Weather Service says those storms also produced hail ranging in size from 2 to 4 inches in diameter. A string of tornadoes touched down near Chicago last night. The storm brought damaging hail with twisters leveling homes in several communities. So far, only minor injuries reported. A woman in Kankakee describing the extensive damage her home and property suffered. She told this to our sister station, WBBM.
Our farmhouse, it blew out the windows and everything, and stuff is just scattered.
Yep,
and over here, it just demolished our barn.
The couple killed in a Jefferson County house fire have been identified by their family. 84-year-old Henry Hoyer and his wife, 73-year-old Susan, were killed in a fire that started a little after midnight at the couple's DeSoto home early Monday morning. DeSoto Rural Fire Protection District Chief Tom Fitzgerald said the house was already engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived, and they had to haul in water from 10 surrounding districts because there are no fire hydrants near that rural home. An apartment complex in North St. Louis dealing with sewage backup. Our partners at Fox 2 reporting the backup is the latest issue for residents at Northern Village Apartments. It comes after 17 units were ordered to vacate earlier this year due to code violations. A representative for the owners of the complex say they're working with the county to make repairs and are bringing in a new crew to address the issues. Youssef Scoggin is the St. Louis County Continuum of Care chair and an agency that assists with displaced residents.
We know we have, yes, a lot of housing generally speaking, but the quality of it and the livability, I think, is the real important piece here.
The Missouri Department of Natural Resources says it's sending a rep to the apartment complex to check things out. At last night's standing room only forum on data centers, Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson framed the decision in blunt terms.
Is this an opportunity that we may look back upon and wish we would not thrust aside? Or after all due diligence is done, is it simply not a good deal for us and we should be glad we walked away?
Water supply among the biggest concern from residents. Illinois American Water Director of Engineering Brent O'Neill says the company has a plan to shield existing customers if a data center drives up water demand.
Should a data center require more water than our current source or treatment capacity allows, we are prepared to set clear limits on quality and the rate of flow that is available to the new large user, prioritizing the need of our existing customer base and protecting the community's water supply.
O'Neill adds any data center would be required to fund capacity upgrades out of pocket, so any expansion wouldn't fall on current ratepayers. Hey, what's the 311? Today's 311, by the way, 311, March 11th. You might see city officials today wearing those buttons for the official kickoff of 311, a new way to connect residents with city services or report an issue like an abandoned car or water main leak. Karen Clifford is with Neighborhood Stabilization.
It started back in 1996, and most of your major cities already have it. New York, LA, Atlanta, Columbus, now us. And it really started last year, right after the tornado. And so we didn't really have a chance to get this publicized or kicked off.
Clifford says people can still call the regular number, but 311 is easier, and you can still report to the CSB on Twitter, X, or now on Blue Sky as well. From the KMOX Business Desk, the Missouri Attorney General going after pharmacy benefit managers and drug manufacturers over the price of insulin. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway filing suit in St. Louis County Circuit Court claiming the companies manipulated the state's healthcare markets, alleges manufacturers listed drugs sold for less than $5 in other countries and then as much as $400 in Missouri. Express Scripts, CVS, Eli Lilly, and Novo Nordisk among the 19 companies named in that lawsuit. It is 8:08, and we'll be back with traffic and weather next.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's time to get a check of the roadways and the weather. Things have definitely cleared up since earlier this morning. We'll get the latest from our AccuWeather meteorologist. But here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look a lot better in North County, Debbie. They cleared that crash westbound 270 past New Florissant. Still a little backup from the Halls Ferries into West Florissant, and then it thins out. We still have this crash, though, in the 2 left lanes on southbound 270, just immediately south of the Olive Overpass. It's a solid jam at Dorset on South 270. North 270 slow at Gravois, and it jams from right around Manchester up past 64 Ladue, looking at that southbound wreck, I believe. So it's a little tougher through there, although there looks like there could be a northbound problem just before Ladue now. So looks like we have issues both ways. 64 both ways, approaching 270, slow. Westbound, it's at Spady. Eastbound, it's packed past Mason. Westbound 64 is also on the brakes, Hampton to Hanley. Eastbound, Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170, just at Brentwood Boulevard, so that's better. Northbound 55, Bayless Weber area is kind of heavy. Westbound 44, that crash west of St. Clair's been cleared. Westbound 64, now we have an incident, crash or a stall just past 3rd Street. It's jammed back past Baugh Avenue, and it's still backed up on westbound 64, both sides of 159. Westbound 70 still has that jam through 143 due to the earlier crash. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, periods of rain and a thunderstorm through the morning hours. Then this afternoon will be cloudy with a shower or two early. It'll become windy and turn cooler. Temperature will fall into the 40s. Breezy this evening, clearing and colder overnight, though 31. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, high 56. Friday will be breezy with a mix of sun and clouds, high 59. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it looks like the rain has stopped in downtown St. Louis. It is 64 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. Total Information AM continues. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and sales of existing homes increased in February thanks to lower mortgage rates and a moderation in house price growth. The report from the National Association of Realtors shows the overall supply of homes is still tight. So what does that mean as we head into spring? That's the busy season for people buying and selling. Joining us in studio this morning, Mark Gelman, real estate advisor with the Gelman team. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, what are we expecting? Because spring is the busy time. Like, this is sort of Super Bowl season for realtors, right?
You know, it is, except what's happened in St. Louis and is that the spring market has started earlier. Yes, we had a couple storms this year with the snow and other, but what traditionally used to be the spring market starting in April, it really is more year round. It's really based on inventory right now. And you mentioned the report. That's a national report. What's interesting is real estate has become so local, and not even only local, but really municipality, street-based, and others. So when you're looking at the overall market, you really have to go really, really local.
What are you seeing as far as home prices? Because I think, home prices have shot up. They're pretty high. I think sometimes people get a little sticker shock.
Sure, we continue to see some pricing growth, but what happened is St. Louis never had the massive spikes, so they're not coming down like they are in some of the areas like Florida and Arizona, Colorado, Nashville, where those prices over the last 5 years just really shot up. Now, they're still well above those prices from 5 years ago nationally, but they're coming down certainly. St. Louis, we've seen some small decreases, but overall, we continue to see pricing growth for great homes priced right. They are very, very competitive because, as you just mentioned, there is a weakness in inventory, not only nationally, but in St. Louis. To give you a reference point, 2020 and 21, over 7.5 million homes sold in the United States. Last year, 4 million homes sold in the United States. So there is just a significant weakness right now. Buyer demand is strong, even at these higher interest rates, although they're going down. And so it's really a supply and demand for great, great homes. Those are competitive.
So let's talk about inventory issues. Some of the reasons we've been hearing is because those mortgage rates have been high. People don't want to sell a house if they've got a good mortgage rate and then buy a new one at a much higher rate. But I'm wondering if you're seeing changes now at all in that. Mortgage rates have gone down a little. And another factor that we've been hearing is that baby boomers, especially who have the big homes that younger families want, are not selling those big homes. They're staying in them.
You're right. There's actually about 4 factors that are really impacting inventory. So no doubt about it, there are sellers today that are rate locked. They bought over 5-6 years ago. They're under 3% interest rates, which for reference, today we're at about 6% interest rates. A year and a half ago, 6.8. So we're less than we were a year and a half, 2 years ago. But there are sellers that are rate locked that are telling us, why would we sell? Where we're going to move is going to be more expensive. So number one, people rate lock. Second of all, home health care has become so big right now that many of the people that would go into assisted living, nursing homes, and other are staying in their homes, which, by the way, is a great thing. But those homes aren't going on the market. Also, many of those individuals that have low interest rates are actually going to keep that home and rent them out. So it's actually, in my opinion, and look, I'm in real estate. We love to buy and sell real estate. But here's the thing. We are advising clients that are at 2% interest rates, 3%. If they want to move, consider keeping that home because they may never see that rate again. And so what happens is if they keep that home, they rent it out if it's allowed in their subdivision, municipality, homeowner. So again, there's a lot of different options right now that are keeping people in their current homes. That's reducing inventory right now.
That National Association of Realtors report that we mentioned also highlighted that the share of first-time home buyers was the highest in 5 years. So what should we take from that?
We are seeing a significant influx of first-time home buyers. Interestingly enough, they're older than they were 5-10 years ago. They're starting out later. But the disadvantage that first-time home buyers have is they don't have any equity built in from that first home. So they're jumping into a strong market where these second home buyers are actually at an advantage where they have reaped, increase in equity. They're moving into their next home. So yeah, it's a difficult challenge for many first-time home buyers who are just jumping into a high-priced market right now.
We often talk about Wall Street and how investors don't like uncertainty or volatility. Is that true of the housing market? What do homeowners react to volatility and uncertainty?
Sure. So the two things that buyers and sellers want are the one thing they want: certainty. A seller wants certainty that when they put their home on the market, they can sell it. A buyer wants certainty when they jump in the market, they're going to be able to buy. The insecurity in what's happening right now, interest rates have stabilized at 6% or so. But the geopolitical, what's happening in the world right now, there's just a lot of moving parts that have created insecurity. The AI, and I was just talking before I got on about AI, when you see what happened with Square last week, where they laid off 50% of their workforce, there's just overall insecurity. We can provide security that they're going to buy or sell. No problem. We can do that. But we can't give them the confidence that it's the right decision financially for them and their family. That's why we always say the best time to buy or sell for an individual is when it's the right time for them and their family to buy or sell.
Yeah, because it's always like, well, you got to have a house purchased by summer because fall, your kids start school. Is that still a rule of thumb that families are looking at?
It's a more active market, as we led with. The spring market is a strong market. It's a strong market for more inventory, but here's the thing, more competition. So we're selling homes possibly in December, November that aren't necessarily going to get the same prices in the spring market. Less competition in November and December. So those homes sold at premiums that maybe wouldn't get today because they may have a little baggage associated with them. So it is a timing issue, but certainly back to school, getting the kids in the school for back to school, critical timing.
One last question for you. We're hearing another issue with prices is because a lot of private equity firms and corporations are buying up homes, and that's driving the price up. Are we seeing that in St. Louis?
Sure. Wall Street has had an impact nationally on the rental market. So, there's a whole Invitation Homes went public about 7 years ago. They really set the standard for what it looks like to bundle a portfolio of rental homes, single-family rental homes, and exit as an IPO. We are seeing in this market, we're seeing Wall Street, but really it's real isolated. We are not seeing Wall Street in many of the areas. For example, St. Louis County, they're focused on North County, and the reason they are is because of the return. They get a solid ROI, and that's the same with many of the investors. Now, there is pressure on in the political arena. There's been talk of limiting purchases by Wall Street. There's been, in Canada, they limit purchases by Wall Street. So it's definitely a hot button. It's impacted certain parts of our market, but not the broad overall market in St. Louis.
That is Mark Gelman, real estate advisor with the Gelman team. Thanks for stopping by this morning.
Thanks for having us. If any of your listeners have any questions about buying, selling, go to thegelmanteam.com and reach out to us. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It is now 8:21, and we need to check in with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we got troubles out there still, Debbie. This traffic report's a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. It's still working crashes on 270, southbound 270, just south of the Olive Overpass. Left lane's blocked, and we're moving everything over to the right shoulder, trying to a couple of minutes ago. Traffic's backed up through Dorset, and then we got a crash north 270. It's the end of the ramp from 64 onto north 270, so right lane's blocked. Traffic is slow at gravel, and it's really bumper to bumper most of the way from almost 44 up to Ladue, and it's affecting east and westbound 64. Eastbound 64 is bogged down from just east of 141 into 270. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, but then it's slow again from Spady out to 270 after that. Eastbound 64, south 170 saw heavy traffic from the Delmar area down toward Ladue. Westbound 270 at New Florissant, and that's thinned out in North County. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River to Perry, slow. 44, east of Jefferson up to the Poplars, heavy. Westbound 64 jams approaching 25th Street to 3rd Street because of a recent crash. And westbound Highway 70 is looking better. It's just slow now past 143. 100 years, that's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, thanks, Roger. It's still cloudy in downtown St. Louis. I do not see rain. It's just a little damp out there, but definitely a lot nicer than it was a few hours ago. We could still see a lingering shower or two today, becoming windy. And the big news as we head through the day will be the falling temperatures, because we're at 64 degrees right now, but the temps are going to fall into the 40s. By the time you're heading home from work today, it'll bottom out around 31 degrees tonight. And then tomorrow and Friday, we'll have sun and clouds with highs in the mid to upper 50s. Again, 64 right now.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
It is 8:25 this week. Megan Lynch has been taking you on a shopping trip to help us all make the best food choices. She met registered dietitian Michelle Wilson of Brands Nutrition at their local grocer, and today they take a walk down the baking aisle.
How do we make wise choices in the baking aisle when we've got literally 24 different kinds of chocolate chips in here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great to have a great variety. So we do have some options where we might have darker versions of chocolates, which might be a little bit less sweet. And we can get a little bit more nutrients out of those. Some of those things like white chocolates don't actually have the cacao in it. So it's just more of like that sugar-based piece. So it's going to be have a little bit less nutrients going on in there. But just kind of like we were talking about the baking section, having those opportunities to add nuts and fruits to your bakery choices can also balance out, similar to like whenever we were talking about the bakery section. I also love the bulk supply of nuts here because it's going to be cheaper and going to have less of those additives than maybe in the snack section. So you can really get those like bulk sliced almonds that you can add into cereals or baked goods, things like that. But it's going to be a lot cheaper.
Prepackaged things like puddings, baking mixes, things like that. What do we need to watch for?
So the prepackaged things, because of it being more shelf stable, it's not as fresh. It's less likely to have as much fiber in it unless it's added into it. So sometimes things, whenever they're processed, have had nutrients taken out in like the cooking process or the ways that it has become stabilized. Also, sometimes salt can be used for stabilizing too, to help things to be more shelf stable for longer. But prepackaged things have had a lot of nutrients added to them. So like for instance, we have these like Kodiak protein balls, for instance. They have like a lot more protein added to them. And then they have like micronutrients that we add back into things whenever we've like taken them out. So they could be enriched or fortified with nutrients that were either taken out of it or nutrients that weren't ever in it to begin with that we're adding to it.
We're standing in front of the sweeteners and the sugars.
Yeah.
What do we need to know about all these? I mean, we've got stevia, we've got regular cane sugar, we've got brown sugar. How do we weigh our options the best?
So the main thing would be taste preference, but also keeping in mind that our sweetener alternatives are going to have a higher sweetness than sugar. So most of them have a sweetness level that's actually about 300 times the amount of regular sugar. So if we regularly use them, we might notice that things that have regular sugar or fruit even taste less sweet because we've acclimated to a higher level of sweetness. So I know that sometimes people will use these things to maintain their blood sugar. So, no shame in using them if that feels like what's balanced for you, but keeping in mind that it might pull away from our satisfaction with fruits and our satisfaction with regular sugar products.
Is there anything bad about sugar?
No, I don't think that there's too much that's bad about sugar. Our brains naturally crave it. Our brains run on glucose. So it's not that there's anything bad about it. We just need a balance of our macronutrients. But sugar by itself is not going to have a lot of that like fiber and protein that helps things to stay more balanced. But it can definitely be a great additive. And also, if we're craving a lot of sugar, we want to make sure that we're getting enough carbs from other sources. So our cravings really lend to what nutrients we need. If we're getting it from just sugar, then we might not be as pulled to having things like fruits or our whole grains or even our dairy products, because that's our other sources of carbohydrates. So if you're just getting it from sugar instead of having that good variety, then you're not going to get those micronutrients that we might need from other foods.
That is Michelle Wilson of Brands Nutrition. Tomorrow, Megan and Michelle will tackle the cereal aisle. It is 8:29. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Let me put this in simple terms. You can't put your estate planning documents in a drawer and forget about them. That doesn't help your family when it matters most. My family has trusted the Laterman Law Firm in St. Louis with our estate planning for over 20 years now. And what sets them apart is they don't treat estate planning like a one-and-done thing. They treat it like what it really is, a living, breathing plan. Laterman Law Firm, they build your plan to protect your family, your assets, and your wishes. And then for a fixed annual fee, Laterman Law Firm will help keep it updated as your life changes, because it will. Families need change, assets change, the law changes. We stick with the Laterman Law Firm and the annual process that they offer to help keep our plan up to date with changes over time. So if you're in the St. Louis area, including Illinois, you want real peace of mind, check out the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com or call 314-514-9100.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still busy out there, Debbie, but things are getting better. This traffic reports the service of the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. Northbound 270, though, a new crash at 44th, so we're backed up at Gravway up to that. And then there's still traffic bogged down in pockets, mostly stop and go, really, unfortunately, from Big Bend all the way up through to about Ladue, where you have that crash. They had that crash south 270 at Olive, still dealing with that. Traffic is backed up north of Dorset down to that one, so 270 is a real trouble spot. By comparison, other highways not bad. Eastbound 70 around 370 slow. from the Blanchette Bridge to 270, a little busy. Westbound 70 through the city limits off pace. South 170, Olive down to Ladue, and then it's opening up. Eastbound 64 is bogged down at 141 because of the 270 jam, and then it's heavy McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley and Lindbergh to 270. That's all pretty busy. Northbound 55, just a little slow, Bayless Weber. Westbound 64, west of 25th Street, slow most of the way to the Poplar and 5570 at that point at Exchange, and 64 through 159, you've still got a roadwork slow down. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
It's going to be a cloudy day with a lingering shower or two, windy, turning colder, and the temperature is going to start dropping. So enjoy the 60s while we have it. It'll be dropping into the 40s by this afternoon, 31 overnight. And then the sun returns tomorrow and Friday with a few clouds, but highs in the mid to upper 50s. We're hotter than that now. It's 63 downtown. It's 8:33. Iran has reportedly begun placing mines in the Strait of Hormuz, the channel through which 20% of the world's oil supply moves. President Trump blasted the Iranians on social media, saying the U.S. military has already destroyed 10 mine-laying boats and ships. Odyssey's Brian Douglas got more on the impact with oil industry analyst Andy Lipow.
Iran is doing everything it can to disrupt energy supplies since they know that higher oil prices and consequently higher gasoline prices are politically unsuitable for the Trump administration. Iran's neighbors are quite upset that they're seeing their oil infrastructure attacked. At the same time, Iran's actions are preventing them from selling their oil and gaining money to provide for their domestic budgets. But this is counterintuitive because I think the Iranian strategy is to inflict pain on its neighbors such that it weakens support for the U.S. and Israeli position.
How long can Iran hold out against, the American military when it comes to keeping ships from leaving the strait and even going into the strait empty to fill up and head back out?
Well, there's no doubt that the United States has overwhelming military superiority. Now, the question is, how long can Iran keep up an asymmetric warfare with small groups of military sending drones into the Strait of Hormuz, targeting tankers? And that may be a little bit more difficult for the U.S. to contain. I mean, it's certainly my opinion that the U.S. has the technology to send minesweepers in through the strait and clear out whatever mines that Iran plans to put in there. But the question is, how quickly will the tanker owner operators be willing to form convoys that transit the strait?
I think a lot of people now are aware of this, but there's a whole lot tied to it. It's not just the gas in our cars, is it?
Well, that's exactly right. That's what the consumer sees the price of at the corner store. But think about agriculture. We're getting ready to go into the spring planting season, and diesel prices earlier this week were over $1 higher per gallon than they were on February 27th. Well, if you're a farmer and you're seeing your costs skyrocket like that, you can imagine what the economies in the Midwest are doing. Think about all the consumer goods that people are buying that are delivered by rail and truck to your doorstep. The cost of delivery is going to go up. So the consumer is going to feel it in a variety of ways, perhaps not as quickly as we've seen the prices go up over the last week, but they will eventually filter through.
Well, let's just talk about gas prices. How much higher do you think we will see our gas prices here continue to go up? I mean, it's already gone up. At least the gas station I go to has gone up about 50 cents over the past, what has it been, 2 weeks?
Well, I think that we're going to see gasoline prices start to plateau over the next few days, just simply because oil prices have retreated down to about $87 per barrel. But I'll look at it a different way and say, if this conflict were to go on for 4 weeks, I think crude oil prices would rise to $120 per barrel. That means $4 per gallon of gasoline on a national average.
And that is a report that comes to us from Odyssey's Brian Douglas with oil industry analyst Andy Lipo. It is 8:37. And by the way, just FYI, it is 311 day. Did you know that? It's March the 11th. Here is what's happening on 104.1 FM KMOX. Missouri's Attorney General has filed suit against more than a dozen pharmacy benefit managers and drug manufacturers over the price of insulin. The National Weather Service says at least 4 suspected tornadoes touched down in Illinois and northwest Indiana during the severe storms last night. And the Cortex Innovation District, known for labs and offices, is breaking ground on a new residential development. The 174-unit building will go up at the corner of Clayton and Sarah. And I mentioned it being 311 day. 311 is now a new number that you can call in the city of St. Louis to report non-emergencies, things like an abandoned car or maybe a water main break. It is 838.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Atom X by Audion Hearing. The Atom X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly, at home, at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Atom X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audion Hearing now at 800-295-HEAR. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Atom X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HEAR for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audion Hearing.
Your Money Report is sponsored for you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
Stocks have endured wild swings over the last few sessions. Jittery traders reacting to all of the headlines out of the Middle East. This morning, the International Energy Agency is said to be considering a release of emergency oil reserves that would be the largest ever in its history. That's not helping stocks. Futures are looking at a slightly lower open. In other news, a setback for the housing market. Mortgage rates increased last week by the most since September. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, the rate on a 30-year loan has risen to 6.19%. The increase in borrowing costs coincides with a sharp rise in the yield on 10-year treasuries, with the war sparking concerns about inflation. And Wall Street is watching shares of Campbell's. The soup maker cut its financial forecast for the year. The company says its results fell short of expectations due to weaker than expected performance in its snacks business, which includes goldfish and weather-related shipment delays. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It is now 8:41, and it is time for you to start thinking about your lawn and your outdoor space. And how much do you actually enjoy it? Because if you're not enjoying it, call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. They've been doing incredible work all around the St. Louis region for 58 years, a top-rated, locally owned, fourth-generation company that does quality work. And that is a true value because when you spend the money, you expect it to be good work that lasts, but that is not always the case. So it is with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They stand behind everything they do, whether you are looking for a new fence or a deck or a patio, pergola, a retaining wall, they do free project design. So if you don't know what you want, they definitely will work with you. Maybe you know exactly what you want or somewhere in between. Go to their showroom in the Chesterfield Valley and you can really get an idea of what's going on. Mention me, Debbie Monterrey, and they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. It's chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest.
Well, we still got jam traffic both ways on 270, Debbie. In fact, they just called out for an incident at Olive again. They cleared the initial crash at Olive over to the shoulder. South 270 still has a jam, though, from Dorset down through 364, almost midway to Olive. Northbound 270, the crash before 44. Looks like it's mostly over to the right shoulder, but there's still a backup at Gravois. And then you're backed up again north of Big Bend, bumper to bumper, all the way up through to about Ladue, where we had that earlier crash on North 270 at the end of the 64 ramps. Because of that, eastbound 64 is slow at 141 to 270. Westbound 64, while Hampton to Hanley, but then Spady out to the 270 ramp is pretty busy. Southbound 170 south of Olive, 64 is slow. On the Illinois side, 64 and 5570 Exchange to 3rd Street, still heavy where we had an earlier crash that has been cleared, it looks like. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today to learn more about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we've got clearing skies, at least a little bit from this morning. It's 63 degrees. All right, it's 8:43, and earlier this week, the Justice Department reached a tentative settlement with Live Nation, the concert giant that includes Ticketmaster. However, states that sued don't seem to love the settlement. Our KMOX legal analyst, Brad Young, is a partner at Harris, Young, and Kaiser. And Brad, I'm not exactly sure what's involved in this settlement, but it's been pretty vocal that a lot of states are like, no, we're not in on this.
You're right, Debbie, and good morning. The settlement basically breaks down along the following lines. The Justice Department agreed that Live Nation would pay about $300 million to the participating states that want to agree to the settlement. And also Ticketmaster must create a standalone ticketing system so that other companies like SeatGeek and StubHub and Eventbrite, that they can also sell tickets through the same system that Ticketmaster is going to be required to provide. And their exclusivity contracts with certain venues, those are capped at 4 years. And there's some other minor other parts of this settlement. But you're right. The big news is that the many states, and it's not just blue states, it's not like a red and a blue, right and a left situation, because you have states like Illinois and New York, but also you have Tennessee and Ohio that are part of the state group that's going to continue with their litigation against Ticketmaster, probably, at least for what's been said publicly, for the purpose of trying to get Ticketmaster broken up as a company.
It sounds like from what you said, they're looking at the resale companies and all of that stuff and maybe how to change that. But does this give it consumers any relief? People who feel like they've been overcharged?
It does. It does in two ways. Presumably that $300 million that's paid out, some of that would go to consumers. But most importantly, a part of this settlement with the DOJ means that Ticketmaster, their fees are capped at 15% of the ticket price. And also Live Nation would be barred from retaliating against venues or artists that choose rival promoters. And so that would allow more competition. It would certainly, the cap of the fees would be a monetary relief to concert goers. But the real question is that even after these elements of the settlement, is Ticketmaster still operating, or Live Nation, are they still operating effectively as a monopoly? And I think that's what the states are going to try to get the courts to decide.
All right. Well, there's no doubt about it. Anyone who's gone to a big concert lately knows they are extremely expensive, those tickets.
Yes.
Brad, thanks for the time this morning. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Brad Young is a partner at Harris, Young and Kaiser, and he is our KMOX legal analyst. It is 8:47.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. Springing forward feels better on freshly cleaned carpets and floors. Let Zero Res remove lingering grime and preparing your home for the brighter days ahead. Check out all the raging customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet clean for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet when you ask for the DGS special. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forward or backwards. Spells the same, Zero Res.
Indian psychic and spiritual healer in St. Louis. Call 314-574-2667. Expert specialist in reuniting loved ones and husband and wife issues, family problems, and unnatural health and sickness, business and job-related issues. Special remedies to deal with negative energy, love spells, black magic issues, evil energies, and curse removal. Performs all types of spiritual prayers to heal the negative energy, balance the chakras, and much more. Contact Master Raj at 314-574-2667.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there'll be plenty of surprises. Tom Ackerman is in Jupiter, Florida, with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
It's 8:50. American Legion posts could be found in just about every community, but that's changed. They're disappearing because of a lack of volunteers and a lack of participation. KMOX's Maria Kina spoke with a retired veteran who is also the finance officer and has operated the St. Louis County Memorial Post 111 in Shrewsbury for 44 years.
Memorial Post 111 is actually a combination of Maplewood, Richmond Heights, University City that for one reason or another had to fold, and they were all brought into Post 111.
That's Lee Smolzensky, the finance officer, St. Louis County Memorial Post 111 in Shrewsbury.
Tell people who won't understand what's happening here, why did all those other posts have to close?
It's a matter that age. I think that's the major thing, is that veterans from World War I, II, through Korea and Vietnam, the whole thinking was for the good of. And the American Legion, which was founded here in St. Louis in March of 1919, And that's something that most people don't realize. The American Legion started in St. Louis, right there across from City Hall, where Soldiers Memorial is where veterans from World War I met in order to establish a charter to become a lobbyist group for veterans' rights in Washington, D.C. It was from there that the Veterans Administration and a lot of things that veterans appreciate and realize today actually were established. But I don't know, it's the feeling or the thinking that those veterans, like the motto for the American Legion is, we who served America now serving our communities. The American Legion is a 501c9, not C3. It's a nonprofit organization, but it's a benevolent organization, not for profit, basically to raise money for veterans charities. That would be the retirement home, which is in Bellefonte Neighbors, or the food pantry, which is at JB. There's a variety of veterans charities that the American Legion fund these days, and the reason why it exists.
Lee, you had mentioned about the JB, the food pantry out there. I know with the way things are economically, more and more people are needing to turn to food pantries. Can any of the service members go to JB, or do they have to be from a certain area?
No, actually, it's not only veterans that utilize it, it's active military. Active military is really hurting these days, and the pantry out there at Jefferson Barracks find a lot of families who are from current military.
That's what I thought, because it seems like in the past I've done stories about this, and there was a big concern with the active members and the troubles that they're having. What do you tell the younger military people that don't have maybe the appreciation or even the knowledge of what an American Legion post is all about?
That's a very hard question, Maria, because the camaraderie that exists, I know among our members, is invaluable to me and most of us who continue to be members and volunteer in order to keep the post going. That's a part of our makeup. For some reason, the current veterans, those from Desert Storm and from Afghanistan, they don't have the same feelings that we have. I can't explain it. I wish I could. I wish I could understand it more, because what's happening is the American Legions and the VFWs, not so much in the rural areas of most states, but when it comes to the urban areas, they are closing. They are just losing membership. The membership is getting older, and they just can't maintain the services that they have always done for the community. The motto of the American Legion is, we who served America, we still serve America by serving our communities. It's becoming harder and harder to be able to do that.
It seems really sad that there could potentially be a generation not too far away here that won't even know what an American Legion post is.
That's true. That's true. I had a young lady who came in and she asked me, she said, what is this? And I says, it's an American Legion post. We're a post that serve our communities. It's basically a volunteer organization of veterans. And I says, you know what a veteran is, don't you? And she says, yeah, it's a bunch of old people who are do-gooders. I can't say anything more after that.
Is there any outreach at all to any of the branches? Like, do they put the word out or anything and let them know what's going on for these younger members?
Well, I hope so. I know that the Coast Guard meets here. We have a very large Coast Guard detachment here in St. Louis, and they meet here at our facility in order to do the induction of the senior chiefs. We're very proud of whenever they do come here, and whatever we can do for our active members, we try to do, and we hope that they provide the same kind of service and providing an understanding to their membership.
Post 111 is available for rental, and when you do, you are considered an auxiliary member in hopes people will spread the word. If not, for people like Lise Molzensky, American Legion posts are silently closing, and with them goes the history. There will come a time when people are not going to know just how important that post was to the members of our armed services, their families, and their community the American Legion Post serves. You have a chance to be a part of St. Louis history and make a difference in a veteran's life by attending the Big Band Dance coming up. It's a fundraiser Friday, April 24th. 100% of the proceeds will go to the veterans. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Skip the sugary drinks. An analysis from Brigham Young University finds sugary drinks make the blood glucose spike, causing weight gain and surges of insulin.